Everyone, welcome to my 56th live stream. Hello everyone, welcome to my 56th live stream. This is Brian Akeem, and today is January 1st, 2021. Let's see, who do we have? I just started the voice call. Don't know if you guys saw it yet. Let's see. Epic says, "Hey Dan, it was fun chatting with you last." Okay, yeah, he was talking to Dan. Oh, hey Matt.
Just trying to get this on speakerphone here.
Yeah, it says you're playing Call of Duty, Black Ops.
Yeah, I'm playing Cold War right now.
Okay.
Where's the? Is there any way to put this on speaker?
I'm not really sure. There's turn on camera, share your screen, mute. Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Give me a sec here.
Oh, hey, DeRosa. Looks like DeRosa came to the chat.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Dan.
What's up, guys?
Not much.
Hey, Dan.
Just
what up, Matt?
Kind of a tough day for the first year, but not unbearable, I guess.
Hey, guys.
Got it on speaker.
So crazy thing happened today. When I went to work at Amazon, I got sent back home because I wasn't wearing the right shoes. So I had to drive all the way back and get my shoes and go all the way back for my shift.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah.
That reminds me of my days in high school when they'd force you to wear the exact uniform or they would kick you out.
Dude, I can't stand it. It's just little details like that. It's seriously, can't you just not have it for one day?
I know.
So overall, guys, how do you feel about Fear Season 1 as a whole?
I think Season 1 was good, but if you're comparing it to the Walking Dead show Season 1, it is obviously, not as good, especially when it comes to the pilot. The pilot's not terrible on its own, but compared to Days Gone By, it doesn't even stand a chance.
I personally think that Fear Season 1, while I like it, I honestly think the one word I can use for it, at least when I look at the trailer and then I watch the season, I think it's a letdown. However, if you maybe look past the trailer, it's yeah, it's pretty good. Maybe a 7 out of 10 for the first season.
Right.
Me personally, I think the season finale is the best episode.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, The Good Man.
Yeah, that was a good finale.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the scene
especially
when
with
Travis
coming
beats
in with
Andrew's
the
face.
Walker Army.
It is a good finale.
Yeah, I do like the line from Daniel too when he's like, "You should save your ammunition," and then they just look up and there's all of these walkers coming.
Dude, I missed that, Daniel.
Yeah, me too.
My opinion, that was Daniel's most badass moment.
It was. Yeah. He's had a couple throughout the series. Needs more.
Honestly,
though.
I think another awesome moment from Daniel was in season 3 when he killed he killed that when he killed the guy that was in charge of the dam. The guy's name was Dante. When he killed that guy and then flipped the other guy over, I thought that was quickly done and so awesome.
My favorite moment of Daniel's is when he kills those proctors, when he pretends to be this injured, half dead old man.
Oh yeah, in the season 3 finale. Yeah, dude, I actually forgot about that.
That scene made me jump out of my chair, and I'm just this is why he's my favorite character.
Yeah.
One thing I do love about this season is just how young Alicia looks.
That is true. Alicia changes not just in terms of character, but physically as well. Even though it might not always seem like that, throughout the series.
It's actually kind of crazy too, because when I look back at this season, I'm just when I was first watching it, I'm just yeah, Alicia's one of the good characters, but I'm just now when I go back and watch it, I'm just wow, you kind of just focus on her even more, knowing what comes after.
Kind of, yeah. She was definitely different. Going back to season 1, she was definitely more of a girl who kept to herself, didn't express her emotions, and just kept in line.
And honestly, we all hate on season 5, but let's be honest. The one good thing about season 5 is that specifically in the first half, Alicia stood her ground, and at least compared to this.
Yes, exactly. Alicia, completely unrecognizable from the first episode in terms of she took out a whole horde by herself. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
Yeah, that's.
Also, did you guys see her boyfriend Matt dying?
I did. I saw it coming.
As
Instantly
soon
in the
as I
show.
saw him, I was like, this guy is dead written all over him.
Definitely.
Yeah, I didn't really get a feel for him, but in terms of a character that was going to be interesting and last a while. But when you guys go back and watch, so I went back and watched the episode last night, literally after the stream we had, and looking back on it, I'm like, man, Travis was such a wasted opportunity, and Madison, I'm like, yeah, Madison still was kind of not the greatest, even back then, you know what I mean? Just
I think that Madison is terribly. I feel like she got the credit she deserved back in the days when she was on the show. But now everybody is just Madison was so amazing. And it's was she though? I don't know. I don't really agree with that.
I'm going to be honest. I never liked Madison.
Simply her death was just so badly done.
Yeah, honestly, now it's even a question of whether or not it was actually a death. It's Talking Dead confirmed it, and now the showrunners are like, "Well, you never know." It's really?
I can't trust a word out of Ian and Andrew's mouths, though.
That's true.
No, they could be doing that for ratings.
Ian and Andrew are the worst thing in Walking Dead, in my opinion.
I agree.
Those guys, they cannot write. And if you guys didn't know, before they became the showrunners for Fear, they were writing children's shows.
Oh my goodness.
That makes sense, honestly. That doesn't surprise me.
How the heck did AMC think these guys, they're going to be the perfect showrunners?
Children's shows.
I have no idea. Who does this? Thinks it's a good idea to bring in people from such a different field. No, okay. I know we talked about it, but Aaliyah Royale, who plays Iris, I believe she was from Nickelodeon. You know what I mean? Just it doesn't make sense to me. Why bring her from there? DeRosa's talking in the chat. He said, "The Walking Dead season 1 was amazing, so iconic." And he said, perhaps one of these days I should join you guys. Yeah, definitely, DeRosa. If you want to join,
I have DeRosa added on Discord. I can add him to the chat if he wants.
Yeah, DeRosa, if you're free right now, you honestly should join, man.
If he's down, yeah, I can add him right now.
Yeah.
Also, I find it interesting how season 1 of Fear and the main show are 6 episodes, but season 1 of World Beyond was 10 episodes.
That's the argument I made. I think I honestly said it way too much, but I said it in every review for World Beyond. This is why this season should be the same length as the Walking Dead first seasons, because you get episodes 2, 4, even parts of 5 where it's just filler,
Yeah, if you trim down the fat, it could be 6.
Yeah. Fear season 1 is a masterpiece compared to World Beyond season 1. Let's be honest with that one.
It is. Yeah, I know. Honestly, and even we were all, at least I remember when season 1 of Fear came out, we were all kind of disappointed. But now that I look back at it, I'm just I would much rather rewatch this than World Beyond any day.
Yeah, it's weird. It's it shows the decline of The Walking Dead in a way, because you got the first show, the main show, phenomenal first season. The second spinoff, decent first season. The third spinoff, really bad first season.
Yeah, it's true. I just hope that for The Walking Dead, because you got to think the next spinoff that's probably going to come out is going to be the Daryl and Carol show. I'm going to assume. I just hope that show. There's no way that could be worse than World Beyond. I feel that's when it's going to actually start getting better.
Unless Ian and Andy are writing it.
Oh, they need to just get them away.
Season 1 and 2 and 3. I don't understand why season 2 gets so much hate.
Well, season 2 gets hate, if you ask me, because I think even though the first half was good with the Abigail, there were some episodes there that could have been cut out. Like the one with that family, I have no interest in that episode. And some of the hotel episodes also weren't really my favorite.
Oh
I agree
yeah,
with you,
I
Dan.
hated the
Not
hotel
a fan
stuff.
of Fear Season 2.
No, it's like a 6 for me, which is still kind of low, honestly.
It's like the
main
season
show
7
Season 2,
or
that
something.
I don't understand the hate for.
Well, I enjoyed Fear Season 2 because it was new, fresh, unique. We'd never seen a boat in The Walking Dead before.
Yeah, that's true. I do think the boat, like concept wise, was good. I think I more so mean the second half of the season, even more so though, because like I don't know, Chris really got on my nerves. There were some boring episodes. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I think that there were some episodes in the second half of season 2 that really could have been faster paced.
Yeah, plus remember that Strand fake out death when they stabbed him and they tried to make us think that he was gonna die and stuff?
Oh yeah. No, I'm not. No, I wasn't a big fan of that.
Same.
Let's see. DeRosa says Travis was so awesome. He really was. When I was watching this, I was thinking, I'm like, yeah, even though Travis is not, Rick, like at least in the first episode, you still get the sense that like, yeah, he's kind of the Rick of this show, and just what they do with him. He really should have been. He had so much more charisma than Madison.
Is Fear Season 1 doesn't tell you that Travis is gonna like be killed off. It tells you that he's gonna be around for a while.
Yeah, that's
not gonna
true.
lie. For Fear Seasons 1 and 2, I thought Travis was the main character.
I know. And then Dave Erickson says, like, I think he confirmed in between season 2 and 3 airing, he said he's like, Madison is the Rick of this show, like, let's say. And I'm just like, really? Okay, you tricked me with that one.
No way.
Yeah, I was actually comfortable with just saying, like, it's like, okay, they may say it's Madison, but I'm just gonna say it's Travis just to like help me out for the experience of the show. Then 2 episodes in, they kill him off, and I'm like, okay, I guess I do have to listen to what they said.
Like Travis's death, when that happened, I was literally like, what a waste.
I know.
Like, yeah, I mean, Cliff Curtis is such an amazing actor.
I just couldn't believe it because, like, Alicia, like, she just, like, gets 2 seconds to react to, like, just all that. And then he just, like he comes out of the helicopter, he falls, and then it just happens so quick. And it's just like, are you serious? Like, that's how you send off a character like that?
Yeah, especially
like
a major
falling out of a helicopter.
Yeah.
Especially a major character.
In my opinion, the best character. I mean, listen, like, I think Alicia is the best character now, but I personally think Alicia gets better throughout the show, and I thought that Travis was the most interesting character in the early seasons, and then I think that's when it happened. Once Travis was like gone, that's when Alicia started to become like my main like favorite character.
For me, it's Morgan.
So what I love about this premiere is how it introduces us to the characters.
Yeah, they do that well.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of true. It is a small. No, he's not in the premiere. He's in episode 2.
Episode 2 or 3. It's when the riots start happening, right?
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
I believe so.
Oh, you know what? There should have been a scene where when Nick is walking with his cell phone and stuff, walking through Los Angeles. There's a scene of like Daniel in his shop, just like looking at him pass by, and like that would have set up episode 2 where we see him again. You know what I mean? Like. They should have had a scene like that, now that I'm thinking about it.
I'm just so surprised that Daniel was so important, because when I saw him back at the barbershop, I was just like, when Travis was like, can we ride it out here? I'm just like, yeah, this dude's going to die within like 1 episode. But I'm just like, he's still alive now. And I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. I got World War Z vibes from that scene. Like, if you guys remember that movie.
It literally blows my mind that the character that we opened this episode with died in the 4th season.
Yeah, Nick.
I mean, it wasn't intentional though. Like if it wasn't for the actor wanting to leave, that would have made that opening scene better, because then he survives. But of course, the actor wanted to go.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I guess we can talk about the episode. So
yeah, perfect.
So you guys know how the episode starts. It starts with Nick waking up after taking some drugs, and he's looking for Gloria, which. I never quite understood this. Okay, so first off, everyone said that Gloria was like patient 0, but like I don't believe that. I think she was one of maybe the first zombies in Los Angeles, but I don't think she was the very first. And when Nick is looking around, part of me was just thinking, I'm like, okay, how weird. Okay, so let me get this straight. So they both took drugs, but she died from it, and then she left Nick asleep, because if she died and reanimated next to him, I feel like that's a plot hole. Like, how did
It
she?
is. Maybe like I don't. Yeah, I honestly think you honestly nailed that one, and I feel like that was always something that was like terribly like a question because you just see her like all the way like Nick walks down like all these stairs and stuff, and she's just like there like it's like well how did that happen? Like I don't know, I don't get that.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
It was forced just for the story to like end up that. I do like the reveal of like the way they do it when like she's eating the like the walker or like the dead body and then
Oh
like
yeah,
the
that
way
was
they kind
gross.
of the way they reveal I thought actually worked really well because they used this like music that was really good, but there is still that plot hole that Brian just mentioned. It's how on earth did that actually happen? How did Nick just survive that?
Yeah, he could have died in his sleep, not from the drugs, but getting snacked on. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see.
I also find it interesting how, like when we find her, she's got that freaking steak or knife in her stomach.
I
Like the
think I
guy
think
she was
yeah,
on tried to defend himself.
yeah. I think that's what happened. The guy tried, and stabbed her. Had no effect. Uh, oh, DeRosa says.
Well,
Oh wait, DeRosa says the Milking Dead. I guess what we mentioned the spin-offs earlier, and he says
yeah.
I'm at a restaurant right now, my dudes, but I appreciate it. I absolutely love this community. Thank you, DeRosa. We appreciate that. Yeah. Whenever you have time, whenever you get a chance, you're more than welcome to join us.
Absolutely, man. I would love to talk more back and forth with you about episodes like this.
For
Hey,
sure,
how'd you
man.
guys feel about the scenes on the highway when all the apocalypse is starting and we see it from Madison and Travis? They're in the truck and stuff like that.
I thought it would be kind of more chaotic. Like I thought like it would be like panic right then and there or something. Because like Travis just goes in a different direction, and then like it's like the next day. Guys.
Yo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it just got quiet all of a sudden. I'm like, wait a minute. It's quiet now. It's like something's wrong.
No, I'm just focusing on a game here.
And I also liked how, like when they were at the school, we saw what actually happened when the zombie was on the stretcher, attacked the paramedic.
Yeah, we saw the footage got leaked on that highway, and just how they showed that, like
Yeah,
that was crazy.
I love how Alicia's just like it's not real, it can't be real. I don't know. I love how the one character that says it's not real, it can't be real. Then later on in the show, like she's like literally one of the only characters from this alive. I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah, I find it crazy how she is the last remaining Clark member from the season alive.
Well, that's another reason why she's my favorite is because like I don't know, when I look at it, I would love to like say that like there's more Clark characters alive because they should have kept the that family alive way longer than they did. But like Alicia, just what she lost in the show, like the way they show how she loses so many people she cares about, she's just the character that has evolved like the most for me, and that has had the like a most amazing journey, I would say.
Definitely.
Like yeah, she lost Matt, her first boyfriend. She loses Jake, Madison, Nick,
Travis
Travis.
and I was gonna say, yeah, Travis like basically dies in front of her,
Yeah.
sort of.
I'd say the person that's lost the most in The Walking Dead is Rick.
Rick, I'm between
He
Carol
He
and
loses his
Maggie.
wife and son.
I'd say Maggie.
Yeah, Maggie lost her
Yeah,
parents, siblings, and then her husband. I mean,
Maggie did lose a lot, but let's all be honest, she's not that good at getting revenge.
she is
She's not
not.
a
She didn't
great
get.
character, in my opinion. I mean, that's a controversial opinion. I get it, but I'm
I,
not
No,
a
she was
I'm
great when
I
Glenn
kind
was
of
alive.
I kind of think, well, yeah, exactly. You just said it. I think that like Maggie, I actually liked Maggie's character when Glenn was around, but I feel like as soon as Glenn was off the show, they just kind of they failed in terms of writing her character, if you ask me.
Agreed.
Same goes with Rick and Yeah, same goes with Rick. He lost Lori and Carl.
Yeah, but like Rick, like I mean, maybe this isn't on. I feel like some people are back and forth on this, but even though Rick did lose Lori, like I feel like after Lori, Rick still kept his cool. I feel like after Carl, that's when Rick kind of like maybe went too far with his actions. I'm sure we all know what I'm talking about. I mean, the stuff with the bar with Morgan and some of that other stuff.
Yeah,
You
Morgan.
know,
Rick didn't
Morgan
well,
legit was like the
remember
one
season
character
3 going
that he took
crazy?
things way too far, in my opinion. Like when his son died, he went out and just started killing innocent people on the road.
I think they tried to establish it like he just goes crazy, but I'm just like, I know he told the story, but for me, there still kind of feels like it's like, well, though, why did you start killing people? Like, why do you have to clear, so to speak? You know?
Well,
And also
I like it though in a way because he's like it's like he's just mentally ill, like he's sick in the head at that point.
Well, that's why I like the Eastman episode because it kind of like brings him back. Even though the Eastman episode is responsible for turning Morgan into the annoying character he was in season 7, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I mean, season 8 was better for Morgan.
Yo, guys.
yeah,
please
that's
don't,
one thing I
please
didn't
don't
like
come
about
after me for
season
this,
6.
but
That's
I
one
don't
thing I
mind
hated
season
about
7
season
Morgan.
6 of the main show is you have all these wolves going around killing innocent people, and Morgan's going around trying to stop them and save them.
Yeah, and then you've got Carol that is like a rock star in that episode, and she literally goes person to person. And I'm sorry, I think Carol, that's one of her best moments because she just took care of business like Morgan should have helped her do.
Yo, guys.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'll get like a lot of hate for this, but I'll just say it. I don't mind season 7 Morgan.
I don't mind him. It's just like honestly, I would actually agree with you. Except the problem is with Morgan in season 7 is that it gets too far. Like when they're going on the meetings and stuff, he literally gets like hit by like Jared when he takes his stick, and he doesn't stand up for himself. Like that's not the Morgan that we know. The Morgan we know would be like, "Hey, give me my stick back, or I'll kill you." Like I just little things like that. It's like he turned into a pushover, if you ask me.
In my opinion, season 8 made up for it though when he holds Jared up at those bars and just lets those walkers devour him.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
Like if you took Morgan from Fear season 6 and he was there in season 7, then he would have gotten his stick back probably.
Yeah, definitely.
He would have done more. He would have like cut Jared's head off right there at the meeting.
Dude, I wish he did, man.
Oh, yeah, imagine the Savior's reaction.
Season 6 Morgan. He would have just been like, "Oh yeah, you don't want to give me my stick?" Dead.
He's like, he's just like, I have to clear.
You guys
Sorry.
feel about Tobias in this episode?
Yeah, we should get back to the episode if we can.
How do you guys feel about Tobias?
Tobias?
He's never coming back.
He's never coming back. I did like him in the episode, but everybody, I just don't think his character would really have much of a purpose, like, after all this time.
Yeah, unless, like, they go the Morales, route, but I don't think so.
Please don't.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
Do you think Tobias is dead?
I honestly, at this point, I'm going to just say that, like, he is until we actually see him alive, which I don't think is going to happen personally. I'm just going to go with he's dead because I just don't know how he would have survived is really my only thing. And
yo, guys, I'll be back.
Believe it.
I got to go do something.
Okay, Matt.
Awesome.
Okay, so I really want to talk about the episode, like from the part where Nick is and to the end, just so we can get it all out of the way, I suppose.
Honestly, though, one thing about the Nick scene though is that I love the music they use while he's like running. Like before he gets hit by the car, the way they use that like kind of like that really like scary like soundtrack, I thought it worked very well.
I think it did as well.
Also, I don't know about you, but I kind of miss the old Fear logo.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. The new one is cool because it's like the word fear is like bigger almost, but like, yeah, I actually, the one thing, maybe you guys will disagree with me on this, but I do like the old Fear intro scene, but I actually like every week how they do like a different like intro, like in the new seasons.
Do you think they should in season 7 bring back uh the old logo for or intro for Fear?
I mean, maybe because like they see this David Alpert guy. He seems to be very like a bigger fan of the earlier seasons because I mean, you got to admit, ever since he took over, Strand is like his old self. Daniel's kind of slowly getting back to that, except he's not getting as much screen time. But I think it's possible, but I think they may just keep that same like intro, except they'll just make it different. Like by the time we go into season 7, they may lose the whole like character silhouette thing.
Yeah.
So, how do you guys feel about the scenes at the high school, meeting the principal, stuff like that?
Well, we haven't gotten there yet. So
Okay.
Nick is still running away from Gloria, who's a walker, and Dan was right. The music was great, but like when I was watching this, I'm like, man, Nick just looks ridiculous because he's wearing like a blouse and he's like trying to pull his pants up too, and just he's barefoot. It's just
I know, right?
oh man, and then he gets hit by the car, and you have Madison, Alicia, and Travis at the house, and then they get the phone call about Nick, and you know, Madison is trying to talk to Nick, but these police officers are trying to ask him questions, and like it's just funny how like Madison was like literally like she almost said like the F word because she said get the out, like you know what I mean, like there was that
It's
moment.
like as if they like it's like they as if they filmed like a scene or something of like an uncensored version, but like never used it, and then it's like okay, now you're gonna have to say it again, but like this is for the TV version. It's like maybe she like almost said it again by accident. She's like, oh wait, this is the uncensored.
Yeah. Um. So let's see. After that we have okay. Yeah. So, the characters. Yeah, they're talking, and we get a little bit of Liza and Chris. Travis talks to them a little on the phone, and we have them. Okay, so yeah, Madison is taking Alicia to school, and we get Tobias with the whole knife thing, and what else? We have okay, so school. Yeah. Wait, Epic. What was your question? You said was it about the principal or?
Yeah, the principal.
Yeah, they did that fake out where you think he's a walker.
I actually like that scene though, to be honest, because it makes you like on edge and then it tricks you. I don't like love it, but I think it's kind of a cool trick they did.
What was he even listening to? Like, if he had headphones, I would have bought it, but he didn't. So I'm like, okay, that was a little bit
He's got
weird.
he's got some good headphones to say the least.
Yeah, I don't think I saw headphones though. I could be wrong, but I don't remember seeing those. So the trick was good. It's just that I don't remember, like seeing it, and it's so crazy how yeah, like Tobias was like mentioning how you know like it's so true even in our world like now there's lots of people who are saying there's the virus going around, it's not going to go away, it's going to get worse, you know what I mean, and you have some people like Madison who says it's not that bad, the authorities will handle it, that kind of thing, but it's like yeah, no, it's really not, and part of me did that with what I mean, like Extinction, when I was writing the first episode, like yeah, there are going to be some people who like do you remember like Brandon, he was like the kind of the conspiracy guy, whereas Benjamin was uh trying to be more realistic, like not believing it.
Yeah, I love that because it's like I love how you did it because it had almost kind of the similar feel to this, except to be honest, Brian, I think you actually did it better. I like the way that you had it where as the first episode goes on, and I actually think this is more what Fear should have done, is more like what you did in your Extinction series, is that just the feel of the world falling apart in that first episode, you captured that. I feel like Fear could have gone a little bit further with it in like its pilot episode.
I feel the reason they didn't do that is AMC were just being cheap, and it was basically budget issues.
Yeah, but the thing about this episode, though, is that I'm just, like, when I was watching it, you got to admit, they hyped up those trailers like crazy. And when I watched this episode, I watched it, and the immediate thing I said when I was done watching the pilot was, huh, that's it? Really? Like, I don't know. I thought the trailers had way more. Like, okay. Like, I left feeling disappointed.
Yeah,
But
It
I
wasn't
did
bad.
like how near the end of the episode we see Madison. She's looking at Tobias through the bus, and he turns to her, and he like has that look on his face, like "I told you so."
Yeah, it is kind of crazy, like um how bad it got. You know what I mean? Like at first there was just a couple walkers. Like Gloria might have been one of the first, and then she killed those guys at the drug den, and then they all turned and walked away somewhere out in the streets. And then when Travis and Madison were driving, she Madison noticed a homeless guy who was a walker, but she
It
didn't know
is
it
it
was.
is kind of crazy though that they do like it's kind of like I don't know. I found it weird that they focus so much on Tobias in this episode and in the second episode. They really try to like almost start his character off like he's going to be like the Eugene of the show, but then he's just gone. Like it's like it kind of just feels like they wasted our time with him.
Yeah, I mean, they should have stuck with it like one episode, or if two, he comes back later in the season. But
Exactly.
yeah, it is kind of weird. Um, so, we have, let's see, Alicia and her boyfriend. Not much to say about that, because it wasn't one of my favorite scenes. Anyways, you have Nick waking up. So,
I did like how Alicia stumbled into his house and kind of found him. That was cool.
oh, isn't that like in episode two?
No,
Yeah, I was going to say that was in
that
episode
was
2, I
episode
believe.
that was episode one, I think.
Um, no, episode
I
one, she's
remember in
waiting for
episode
him.
2. Yeah, in episode 1 she's waiting for him and then in episode 2, I think it's like early episode 2 she like finds him there and then like Madison's like over the phone she's like stay away from him or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
So
it's been a while since I watched it.
yeah. So we have the part of the hospital where Travis talking to Nick, and I did like this because Nick is freaked out about what happened. Like he's been on drugs for a while, but it's never happened like that before. He's never seen something like that, and it felt so real. But then again, he could be thinking like my mind is maybe it's playing tricks on me, but I don't know exactly. Like because he even mentioned it. If it was the drugs, then like I'm insane, and it or like what I mean? It's just something like that. But if it wasn't the drugs, then it's bad. Like it's even worse. So it's like what I mean? Like both options are just it's not good. So Travis
It's
basically.
kind of it's kind of crazy to me though that they did it to where it's like Travis like you got to think about it. Madison didn't even believe Nick, but like Travis, who's not even his like dad or anything, he is the one that believes him, and he's the one that actually goes and like investigates. This is why Travis is my favorite in the earlier days because he takes everything seriously. As soon, like even though the world hasn't fallen apart here, you got to admit when the world falls apart more, Travis takes like everything super like seriously and like carefully, and he doesn't like second guess anything small.
I feel like they should have switched jobs. I feel like they should have had Travis be the guidance counselor for kids and Madison be the teacher, like the English teacher or whatever. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Travis just has a more sense with kids and like wanting to help them with their problems, whereas Madison, I don't know, it just doesn't feel that way.
I think Fear would have honestly done better if Travis was the leader just to begin with and actually like keep him alive. And somehow it's actually a wrong thing to say it nowadays because Madison is so respected now. But I think if I was doing it, I actually would have had Madison die in season 3 or something and just completely throw like Travis like to a dark place. And then it just, I don't know. I feel like Travis would have made a better leader.
I definitely agree. It would have been amazing seeing Morgan and Travis meet.
Yes, absolutely. You guys imagine Travis like now, especially in season 6, like he
Oh
would
my
not.
goodness.
I feel like Travis nowadays would just be like crazy.
Definitely.
In my opinion, Travis would be similar to Daryl.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think Travis had the potential to be like one of the better Walking Dead characters if they actually kept him around.
Exactly. It's a shame that Fear got rid of like a good chunk of the better characters. You know what I mean? Like so like Matt okay, so like with Nick and Travis, like a lot of people found them the most interesting. Like even DeRosa says like, how he says that he thought that Travis was the Rick of the show and that Nick was an interesting character. And yeah, it's just crazy how they both die. And yeah, they kind of somewhat kill off Madison too. They do keep Alicia and Daniel, but still it's like I feel like they could have kept Travis longer. Nick, I can understand that the actor wanted to leave, but I mean that wouldn't have happened if they fixed up season 3 with Travis's death. Like if Travis didn't die, then maybe Nick would have lived too. So it's like it's like a domino effect.
By all means, though, honestly, Alicia is a character that I am grateful. Like, I think very grateful that they kept her alive. Daniel is also in that. But, like, I agree. I can't fault them for Nick because it kind of feels like they had no choice. But, and I also I don't hate his death. I just, it kind of feels like Nick's death. It's like, it does feel kind of random, but I get it to an extent. But the Travis death, that one was just unnecessary.
Nick should have died at the stadium.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Matt, you're back.
How do you guys feel about that Fear the Walking Dead mobile game?
I don't like
the mobile games.
Not a fan of it.
I don't like it either.
Black Fear the Walking Dead mobile game.
Oh, I remember. Yeah.
How do you guys feel about it?
I feel like it's just pointless. Like it's one of those games you can just play. Like if I'm gonna play a Walking Dead game, I want it for story, for choices, awesome gameplay. But if you're just running around killing zombies and trying to get the high score like it's an Angry Birds thing, or it just I don't know, that's not what I want.
Yeah, it's kind of like Fear the Walking Dead's version of like Survival Instinct or something. It's like they wanted to like one up that or something.
Like we said last stream, all you need is a Walking Dead game with Last of Us 1 story and gameplay with the open world of like Red Dead Redemption, and you're set.
Exactly.
Yes.
That would make so much money. Like such a missed opportunity for the franchise.
Maybe we should start like a petition or something to get AMC to finally do it. Cause like okay, so like what should it focus on the main characters?
You guys remember that Walking Dead Facebook game from like a few years ago?
Not really.
I don't play Facebook games.
There was like a early 2-bit Facebook game on Facebook, the Walking Dead social game.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I didn't like the graphics or the animation.
No, me neither.
I think they shut it down.
Yeah. So all right. So back in the episode, we have Travis looking in the church, and this was crazy. This scene was you have Travis looking in a door, and it's not a walker; it's just a guy. And remember, he's like, don't kill me, and just runs off scared. Like that was interesting. You think it's gonna be a walker a lot of times, but it isn't. Like that's what I liked about the premiere, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, I like that scene a lot. It was another one of those scenes from the episode that was like, I don't know, when Travis went in there, I was just saying the whole time, like, oh, be careful, dude. Like, seriously, like, we've seen this place before. Like, who knows what's in it now,
I wonder how they got out, though, the walkers. So Gloria and everyone she killed became walkers and left because there's no body.
I kind of personally feel like it feels forced, though. This actually is a flaw with me with this episode. It feels forced that there's no walkers there, just so you can have that reveal at the end when they find Nick's drug dealer as a walker. Honestly,
yeah, and I don't think a single walker died in this episode.
No, I don't think so.
Did Nick's drug dealer Walker die or no?
No, he was still alive, ish. Yeah, he like jaw missing.
Episode from the season has to be episode 4.
Wait, I thought
that episode literally had like no walkers, I think.
I think the worst episode of the season was the dog.
No, I actually think that's my second favorite episode, if I'm being honest.
Right.
The only thing I didn't like about that episode was the dog dying.
I know. Why did they do it? It's just it's cruel, and just like the way that it happened, it could have been prevented too. You know what I mean? Like the characters,
it feels just forced, if you ask me personally.
Well, with a title like The Dog, I already knew that there was going to be an unfortunate dog death.
Oh, yeah. It's like if we ever get a Walking Dead episode, that's called The Horse, like you just know what everybody's going to be thinking.
Yeah.
That would be the worst, like most depressing thing is if Daryl's dog died.
I mean,
No,
people would
definitely
riot
not.
if Dog died.
I feel like there's too big of a fan base at this point with Dog, and I feel like now they just know they can't do it because people would just be so upset. I mean, we know how people reacted to Shiva.
Oh, and
I
Norman
definitely
Reedus.
agree. Daryl's dog is iconic.
Also, Norman Reedus. He's gonna put the foot down for that.
Yeah. Yeah, Daryl's dog is iconic. I'm just kind of disappointed that he's fading into the background now.
You know, Norman was the one who requested the dog character.
I actually agree with him. I think it was a good call.
Same. I like dog.
There you go, Norman Reedus. You actually made a good decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlike that Beta and Negan fight.
Yes.
I don't want to bad talk the actors because like Norman Reedus is amazing. I think we can all agree Norman Reedus sometimes comes up with some weird ideas.
Us, we don't want to bad talk the actors. Also us. Yo, what the heck is with the Iris cast?
Yes.
Yeah, really.
Well, that's we have to make that exception. You know, we just have
Yeah,
to.
we do. That Iris, I can't sit here and lie and say that she's like a fantastic actress. They need to keep her forever.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's the one thing I never understood about episode 3 is that Walker was going after that family like he had a vendetta against them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right. So I think we're about halfway done. I would say with the episode. So Travis and Alicia Madison, they're all at they're at the hospital again, and we have let's see. Okay, yeah, school stuff. Now I'm trying to. Okay, yeah. So Nick is in the hospital and he gets that dying man placed in his room. That part I never understood. So like, I mean like, does that happen in hospitals? Like, patients have to share rooms like that close. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hate that. I think that's kind of frustrating. Also, can we please also add, it's kind of the same topic, but like I feel like with this episode, like when you were just going over a few things and like skipping a few moments, this is exactly the reason why I feel like Fear's like pilot episode, it really didn't need to be this long. I feel like they could have actually shortened it a bit.
It was a whole
Or
hour.
1 and 2 together.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that because, like I said, I left this episode being like, wow, we barely saw anything from that trailer.
Yo, let's be honest, though. When we saw Strand in episode 5, who knew that he'd be one of the last surviving people from season 1?
Yeah, Strand has overstayed his welcome on the show. I mean, Travis dies, Nick dies, but they keep Strand. Like, please, like, they should have switched it.
Also, Luciana, while we're at it.
Oh boy, yeah, Luciana. But luckily, she's not in this episode because Luciana's just. She's just.
I don't get it, man. I really do not get how like I still see so many people giving her so much support. I'm just like, what are you talking about? She doesn't do anything.
I know.
That's the one thing that I don't understand about Fear is The Walking Dead killed Enid because Carl was gone, yet Nick's gone and they're keeping Luciana.
Enid's a better character. It's that simple. I feel like Enid's a better character because I feel like Luciana, she was okay for like the first few episodes of like season 2, I think, when she first was introduced. But then even in season 3, I didn't like her very much.
She's barely she was season 3. Doesn't she leave in like the first 3 episodes?
Yeah, like
it was episode 5.
She stays at the place for like 1 or 2 episodes and then just bounces, like just leaves Nick, and like
should have stayed gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, just her being back with the group in season 4.
I understand why she didn't want to stay at the ranch in season 3.
I mean,
that's one of the biggest plot holes, though, is I hate to say it, but that's one of the biggest plot holes. Like, you're telling me that Luciana, like, you guys remember when they were trying to explain, because they barely explained the dam thing, like how the dam fell. And, like, you remember Strand just said to Madison in season 4, like, then, you know, Nick went out and found Luciana. It's like, what? Like, that doesn't tell us how it happened.
Yeah, how do you find someone that's been missing all that time in the apocalypse, dude?
How did you even know she was in the general like area of where the dam was? Like, I details, people. Come on.
Yeah, she was in California, like, or around that area, around the ranch area, on foot, I think. So, and then it's been
and
weird.
Is Proctor John dead too? That's the other question. Like, there's so many questions. It annoys me to this day.
I like to imagine Proctor John is still alive just because a lot of his men still escaped. So you'd think him and his group would have still like been able to pull through.
Yeah, but if he comes back now though, like if they had him come back, let's say hypothetically like season 7, it would just be like, okay, dude, like where were you all this time? Like seriously.
Yeah.
Imagine
Hey,
if Proctor
Brian.
John was the leader of the end of the beginning group.
I would actually like that because then it makes sense of like why this group is so feared. Because I actually think he played a good villain.
Same. The actor, I've seen him on Sons of Anarchy, and he is a really good actor.
Yo, absolutely.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
What wasn't the ranch somewhere in Mexico or somewhere around there?
I think it was near the border.
Yeah, it was near the border, but I looked it up. I thought it was in Texas, but it was still it was in Southern California, like so around the border.
Yeah, it was just like a little past the border, so yeah, it wasn't too far off.
Let's see. DeRosa says, "Let's debate this other than our community. Who's the best Walking Dead YouTuber?" Wait, let's
Please,
debate.
nobody say Trev.
Movie
Yeah.
Idol. Like for the big ones, Movie Idol.
Movie Idol, yes, definitely.
Me personally, I think it's Dan's reviews.
Oh, thanks, man. But like, well, like, yeah, but outside of like outside of us, who would be your favorite? Just
Yeah, like
curious.
our group. I really like Predatory. You guys know him?
Oh, he's hilarious, dude. His Scott Gimple impressions crack me up.
Did you see the Christmas song? Did you see the Christmas song he did?
I still gotta see it.
Oh, you gotta see it. You gotta see it. It's
Dude,
fantastic.
Get watching, seriously.
Okay, I'll check it out for sure.
It's kind of difficult for me because I watch probably your guys' videos the most out of everyone else.
Well, I gotta say, guys, we got ourselves a freaking great community here.
Yeah, we do. It's amazing.
I don't really watch him anymore.
Dude, I'm honestly at a loss with this channel now because like he made a video today, like, and I'm just like I haven't clicked on one of his videos in like a long darn time, and I clicked on it today, and you just see like Bill Gates dancing. I'm like, what? Like, what is this guy doing?
Yo, this is when I lost interest in Trev. When I went to my notification box, I'm like, okay, Trev's uploaded. Let's see what he's got now. And then I see Paul McCartney is dead, and I'm like, okay, no, I'm done with this.
No, I can't. Like I just said, I literally like today. I think was the first day I clicked on a video in like months. I'm not gonna lie. And like I literally click on the video and I just see Bill Gates dancing. I'm like, okay, you have like crossed the line.
Like,
I know, like, what's going on?
Cause I used to love Trev's channel too. I've been watching him since season 2 of the show. He used to have some good content, but now I'm just
I feel like honestly, like not only is it he's way too into the conspiracy stuff, but not only that, I feel like he just lost the passion for The Walking Dead like we have.
Yeah, I agree.
He just doesn't seem interested anymore. It feels like every review he does now, he just sits there like as if he like is like held at gunpoint to do it.
Yeah, plus he talks more about conspiracies than the actual Walking Dead now.
He literally titles a live stream The Walking Dead something, and then like literally he talks about Walking Dead for like 2 minutes, and then he jumps right into conspiracy stuff.
Yeah, Trev should make a new channel for that.
He should, and then just like continue his Walking Dead channel. I think we would all be grateful for that.
Or if you're done with The Walking Dead, then just bounce and do your other stuff.
Exactly.
And Make Path Presents. He's an okay channel, but he's too obsessed with his comic.
Nah, I can't with Make a Path Presents. I'm just gonna say this, but Make a Path Presents was actually rude to me on a live stream.
Same. I'll be honest. He literally, you ask like just a random question, and he will like bash you. Like he will just come at you for like no reason.
He came at me for asking about Carl's death before the death happened, and he's like, "Do you know who I am? Like, who are you even? Like, you think you can call me bro?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, goodbye."
Yeah, I honestly like the other thing about it too is that he literally promotes on his channel like what is it, like a video every week? Dude, he hasn't posted in like a month or something. I don't get it.
And what's sad is I used to seriously like support him. Like during the season 5 days, I used to be a huge fan of Make a Path Presents.
Yeah, same. I can't even watch them anymore. I can't. I would much rather watch like your guys' videos than like ever watch them again, honestly.
But Movie Idol, I feel, is still like one of the great like major Walking Dead YouTubers. Like I follow that guy faithfully. He's a great YouTuber.
Oh yeah, he is. I think he's one of the best ones out there because. But honestly, though, the one flaw I do have is that I just wish we saw his face. That's the one thing I wish we saw.
It's
on
like,
his
show us your
Instagram,
face,
actually.
movie idol.
This is my favorite
Yeah.
YouTuber out of you guys is Dude Guys.
The dude guys.
I like Dude Guys, but I feel like he's kind of on and off YouTube. It's hard to keep up with him, in my opinion.
But yeah, Movie Idol, Predator, they're like my top two like big Walking Dead YouTubers.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Those guys are, I would say, the best, and still loyal in terms of talking about The Walking Dead and posting. So,
I find it crazy how this community is centered around The Walking Dead, but the bigger channels like Trev and Ronnie are not into The Walking Dead as much.
Yeah, I feel like the thing with them is that I feel like Trev is just burned out on it, and then he wants to use The Walking Dead. Hear me out on this. I think Trev wants to use The Walking Dead as a way for people to click on his videos because he knows that if he makes a title for a video conspiracy something, he knows that people will just hate on it, so he titles it The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I'll tell you who the worst Walking Dead YouTuber is actually, and like if this guy ever watches this, no hate to him, obviously. Like no hate to any of these YouTubers, just voicing my opinion. But I think the worst Walking Dead YouTuber is George Drake. He clickbaits everything.
Oh, dude, I can't with him. I'm not gonna say too much, but like honestly, I'll be honest. I was subscribed to him for a time, and I'm not even subscribed anymore. I can't. It's too much with the clickbait.
Like he posted a video a few days ago, like Rick Grimes and Morgan Jones CRM World Beyond crossover must watch OMG, and I'm like, oh my lord,
dude. Like you're desperate for views when you do that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So, do you remember the part where? Okay, so yeah, the guy next to Nick starts going into, I think, cardiac arrest, and Nick is they take him away, and Nick is able to escape, and he takes the guy's clothes and wallet and stuff from the bag, and it's like, okay, so first Nick,
in my opinion, that's actually a better outfit than what he was wearing at the start.
I know, but it still looks weird.
Yeah.
He's wearing old man clothes, like Nick.
He looks like he's wearing like Walter White like clothes from like Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
You're damn right.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, but you have Madison and Travis who are trying to find Nick, and Nick is trying to contact Calvin, and I guess his dealer. I think it's pretty clear that he's a dealer, but Madison and Travis visit him, and they think he was just one of Nick's friends who used to do drugs. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of crazy how like the first time we see him, I feel like this was an unnecessary scene, but the first time we see him, he's cleaning his like parents' van. Like he looks all nice and clean and like well dressed, and then later with Nick, he looks like a drug dealer kind of thing. It's like I don't know. It was just like a little bit like, wait, that's the same guy. I'm like, oh, okay.
It felt forced for that scene.
Yeah, I feel like that scene could have been cut.
Also, I know this is weird, but this first season reminded me of GTA 5. I think because GTA 5 was set in the same city.
I agree with you, Epic.
Yeah, visually, I agree. Definitely.
It's because it's LA, so like you see all of the GTA 5 landmarks. So that was actually a big draw in for why I started watching Fear. I'm like, oh, it's in LA. Maybe I'll recognize some locations.
Yeah,
did you recognize
I
anything?
like how they do that.
Yeah, the main city actually looks a lot like when you're playing GTA 5. I looked at some of the main locations of Fear, and I'm like, oh, it's the same place.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
if any of you guys are GTA fans,
I've been a GTA fan my whole life.
same here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have the highway scene with Madison and Travis, the one that's in the thumbnail. And the next day, like even more people are absent, not showing up. And, the characters are watching the video. And it is kind of crazy. Some people, they're even mentioning, like, maybe we should talk to the district and things like that. Like, you know what I mean? It is kind of crazy how, but I did like it because, like, the students, some of them believe it, don't believe it, and the teachers and the staff, they're trying to figure it out as well. So I think that was good to show both sides.
Oh yeah, definitely. I did like it too. How it's like there was that one scene when Alicia's like on her phone with her friends or whatever watching the video, and like the teacher's just like she's like I forget because I haven't seen this episode in a while, but wasn't she just like yeah like put those away or something? Just like do you like lady, do you have any idea like what you're talking to them about? Like you're talking about the end of the world here. Like I think you should let them watch this.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Do you guys remember? It's like, okay, I'm sorry. Like, even when I was in high school, okay, like everyone, like, even the teacher was aware of what does the fox say. So the fact that video in L.A. about a man, uh, getting in a car accident and dying, coming back to life, and taking bullets, batons, and just like the fact that even the teacher was not aware of that, like that was kind of that's kind of weird.
I would be like that kid that's like in the school, and I would just be like, if I was in Alicia's place, I would just be like, yeah, listen, like it's educational, like watch this, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. It's just kind of crazy because, yeah, like I said, but oh yeah. Anyways, so yeah, the characters, they decide, the principal and everyone, they decide to let students leave early, and Madison and everyone, they're just trying to figure it out. Like, it's getting bad. The tension is building, and we have the characters, leaving the school, and so they're trying to find Nick. Hold on, where else in this episode? Okay, so yeah, so Nick finds Calvin, and like Frank Delane did a great job as far as like acting like a junkie. And part of me was just thinking, I'm like, man, I wonder what the other restaurant people think when they're looking at those two during their
Yeah, I
conversation.
know, right?
It's like, whoa, it's like this, it must be awkward. Like, imagine you're in the restaurant just looking at that conversation. It's like, okay.
Do you guys imagine you just see them talking and then you just see like across like near where like the employees are or something, they're like taking like orders and stuff, and you just see like three of them just like with their arms crossed, just like looking at them or something.
Oh, by the way, I know this isn't Walking Dead related, but I was gonna check out Game of Thrones, but season 8 drove me away from it.
Okay, here's how I look at Game of Thrones. First 4 seasons, very good. 5 is weak. 6 is really good because of Ramsay Bolton. And 7 and 8 are, oh Lord, I don't even want to talk about those seasons. But you know what? I would watch it strictly because there are good seasons and like good character moments and stuff. And you never know, you might like the ending. Like everything is opinion based, right?
I
Yeah,
think
but I don't think
I
Epic will
think
like
Game
the
of
ending.
I think that Game of Thrones is honestly like the way I look at it. Season one was too slow, if you ask me, and they should have had more in the story actually happening. Season two was better. Season three is when I was like, okay, this show is really good. Season four is the peak for me, and then season five, I agree, that was a really weak season. And then season six, I'm like, oh, this is actually this is getting better again. And then season seven, I was a little disappointed, but I was still like okay with it. And then season eight, I'm like, I'm done. But oh wait, the show is done. So yeah, I guess it is.
I won't discuss Game of Thrones spoilers here just because it isn't a Game of Thrones stream. But I'll just say that yeah, the season 8 stuff, like I don't know what they were thinking with that.
Yeah, they honestly that season like it was so hyped up, and they just burned that season down. And if anybody watched that season, you know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
Um.
I'm hoping The Walking Dead gets a better ending.
I feel like it's impossible for Walking Dead to do as bad of an ending as Game of Thrones did. The only way Walking Dead could do a bad ending, and we all know this isn't even going to happen anymore, is if they like killed Daryl or something. That then it would just be like, wait, what? But even that isn't as bad as what Game of Thrones did.
You know what I feel like would be like the setup for a really awful ending for the show? And some people I've actually like debated this with. Some people are like, "No, this character needs to die," and I'm like, "No, I think this character's death would harm the show."
It
I
would
think the
definitely
death.
upset me. I mean, I'll
Wait,
be
which
honest.
character?
I'm worried about Negan's character.
Oh, okay, Negan. Yeah, I couldn't hear. You were cutting out a bit, Matt. I don't know, but
Right.
wait, you really think that like the killing off Negan would like destroy the ending for the show?
Definitely.
I actually think that they're. I don't know. I think no matter what they do with Negan, if they kill off Negan, I feel like it's going to make, at least for me personally, it's going to definitely upset me because I do like the character. And I'm actually happier with this character, not as much of a villain anymore, because I just enjoy his character as just like a normal character for right now. And also
I definitely agree.
the
Negan
way
is
they
like
told his character as a villain just didn't work as well as the comic. But in like his death, I feel like it's just gonna, they need to do it right, and I actually do think it may happen.
But yeah, I agree. Negan is like one of the most iconic characters in the franchise.
Hopefully Angela listens to us and she's like, okay, people really like Negan, like maybe I just can't do it, like.
I feel like okay, so I feel like they still need to do some deaths though for season 10C and the final season. We really need some deaths because season 10 was really light as far as deaths.
I say Father Gabriel should die in 10C.
I don't. Yeah, I feel like Gabriel will die, but I'm actually one of the people that thinks he'll make it till season 11 and then they may kill him.
Same with Rosita, because like they're doing nothing with her, man.
And she's like playing like Selena now, so I'm just like, yeah, they're probably that show. Knowing them, they'll probably just be like, yeah, you're not giving enough time to Walking Dead. The show is ending. Let's just kill off your character.
Well, yeah, but the thing about that Selena series is it is a mini series.
Yeah, that's true. I just hope that they give Rosita more time though, because I feel like even though in season 10 they did give her some moments, I don't feel like it was enough for me to like really be interested in her character.
It was less than season 9. She had less time
Definitely.
than season 9.
So, how do you guys feel about the ending to the pilot of Fear?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that real soon. So we have the part where Calvin is driving Nick, and yeah, like Matt said, this is very Grand Theft Auto like, and this must be the first time that Calvin has ever needed to kill somebody because they might squeal to the police. Because I mean, Nick was mentioning how he saw Gloria kill those guys, so he doesn't know what's up with him, and like
I
because
still find it crazy though that like Nick literally like this is one of the craziest moments of the episode for me. Nick feels like he has to because he's into drugs and all that, and like people don't believe him. It's actually kind of sad that he feels like he has to kill someone just to prove it. Like I always found that so crazy.
I mean, I think he had to kill him to protect himself, but yeah, like, I mean, that's what ended up happening. But like,
Hey man,
yeah, Epic.
I find it crazy how, like near the end of the episode when they were driving the passage, I've driven through that passage in GTA 5 so many times.
how did Calvin even get there? I think that's another plot hole. So like, the body was okay. So like, oh yeah. Okay, so when they get there, okay, so when Nick shoots, well, when Nick shoots Calvin. Okay, wait. So when Nick shoots Calvin, and he's dead, you have Nick who goes through the tunnel again, waiting for Madison and Travis, and then they drive through the tunnel, and somehow they don't see Calvin anywhere, and then somehow he's behind the tunnel. Like, how did that work?
That made no sense because like as soon as like I saw Calvin there in the tunnel as a walker, I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, like that is like the most like ninja walker I've ever seen.
I can't stand ninja walkers. If they, whether or not they bite people, scare people, or just teleport, I can't stand it. It's just so weird.
Guys, honestly, you guys all have to agree. I don't even know. I feel like a lot of us try to block out a lot of Fear season 4, but you guys remember? I feel like this is the worst ninja walker. It's the one where that guy is like tricked because he's like, I'm at mile marker like 20, like 1, and then it's like there's like a 7 or something, and then like there's that wall Martha has that comes behind this guy.
Oh, that was so bad.
Was quiet the whole time.
That was so bad.
I think what happened was think
It
what
was.
happened was, well, we know that when you die in the Walking Dead universe, you come back as a walker. So I feel that Calvin kind of reanimated and then snuck into the tunnel while they were distracted or something.
It still feels forced though. Like I just it doesn't it just feels like one of those moments. This is why I don't love this pilot. Just because of like moments like this where I remember when I was watching it, the one word I just kept saying was really, like really, is that really how it would go?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, it was still. I think the idea was awesome, but how they went with it was a little bit bad. So, like, the part where Nick is just like saying over and over again, like, "Yeah, Calvin was here," it just, and he's like thinking like he might be hallucinating everything again. Like, he doesn't know what's real. Kind of like how what happened with Carol in season 10. Like, that is good. Like, you know what I mean? I think they should have kept that.
I
But how did
Well, I feel like the thing about this scene though, like you just said, like Brian just said, and I agree with this. The idea of the scene like is really good, but the execution is what ruined it.
yeah, I mean, like the fact that he was a walker and they were pushing him and then Nick runs him over. That's good. But it didn't need to be in the tunnel. You know what I mean? It could have just been out in the open in that area they were in. Because, like, I
That was
still
the
don't.
best part of the episode for me.
Just going through the tunnel with the car.
Yeah, definitely. Like I don't like how they don't like I agree with the whole like how did Calvin actually get there and like pass them and stuff. But in terms of like Nick like driving and stuff and that whole thing when he almost like bites Madison, that part is the best. Like that's the most intense part of the episode for me.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Calvin was really close to biting Madison. She would have died right then and there. I mean, Travis acted really fast.
Madison has a good jacket. Let's say that.
Yeah. Um, so Nick runs over Calvin and he's got like broken legs and the jaw's gone too, but he's still like somewhat moving. And Madison's just asking what the heck's going on. Travis is like, I have no idea, and just the episode ends. So yeah,
I will say I did like how it panned out, and we saw the bridge and then the train and all the sounds of the city. That was cool.
It was cool because you just know when you watch this episode, anybody that watched the trailer for this, you just know when you see the end of this episode, like, yeah, that whole city is going down, like, next episode.
yeah. So yeah, we actually did it, guys. It took us an hour and 7 minutes, but we got through the episode. So you guys,
Wow, for an episode that was actually just 1 hour, we actually made it through this one really quick.
Just because the episode ain't that, like, there ain't much to really talk about with this one.
No, there's just like a few cool scenes, like when Nick ran him over, like when he was a zombie and stuff. But like, there's a few like high like moments where it's like high tension. But I would say this episode is like a 7 for me.
It's a 6 for me.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
can see that.
the only reason I like this pilot is because it just reminds me of Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, well, I mean that could apply to like a lot of season 1 too, just in general.
oh man, what'd been cool? Imagine if Simon like was a character, like just for like a little bit in season 1, and then he disappears, and then he's in The Walking Dead. Like it's kind of like,
Dude.
oh man, like that would have been perfect. Like, cause like his name, he's Simon. He's in Los Angeles, and then the apocalypse happens, and then sometime years later he's in Virginia, and I don't know, like
You could have actually made that work.
Yeah, it's better than what they did with Tobias. Like, as far as like
No, but like what you just said, like how you could have like Simon be like a character here, because it actually makes sense story wise that like maybe like he's in this and then he's gone for a while, and it actually would make sense that like he would be part of the Saviors later or something.
I know, and he would have been actually like the first real crossover character, and it would have been something like we could have like maybe Simon in season 6, 7 mentions like he's from LA, like, and like people would have just gotten so much Grand Theft Auto vibes, I guess.
Well, do you guys remember too how they did this episode too? This episode released in between the break of season 5 and 6, so Simon wasn't even in the show yet. So that would have actually, like, just think the first ever crossover would have actually been the opposite. Fear would have given a character to The Walking Dead.
Hey Brian.
Yeah.
Are you a Grand Theft Auto fan?
No, I mean I have played it in the past, but it's not really my thing. So like, I don't
How
enjoy the
dare you?
stories.
No, I'm just kidding.
Like I'm not really into the stories and all that. I just a lot of times I just get up in the air and jump out of a plane or a flying car or something. Like I use a cheat code or something like that. Those are my favorite
Right.
parts from Grand Theft Auto. Just
Yeah.
yeah. DeRosa says,
I'm
"Yo,
kind
I'm
of
back."
I'm
And
kind of on like I'm kind of at the same place that you are, Brian. I'm like I like GTA, but it's like it's not one of my favorite like all-time favorite games.
DeRosa says, "I really like the Simon versus Negan fight, but I would have liked to have seen our survivors kill Simon." Yeah, like as far as like the survivors, they don't kill Simon and they don't kill Negan. So even though the saviors
Hey,
lose,
Brian.
yeah, Epic.
Uh, Overall, how did you feel about Negan being the one to kill Simon?
Um, I honestly, I, I honestly, okay, I think it was somewhat well done in terms of if that's how they had to write it. But if I would have written it, I feel like Simon could have died sooner, and Negan should have been the villain in All Out War. And like the fact that our survivors they didn't kill Negan or Simon, I don't know, it just felt so off.
Yeah,
Like,
and
Nobody
then also
killed Negan in All
the
Out War.
the fact that like Simon was like literally like this is why I think actually I agree with Brian. I think that Simon should have died sooner, so then they could finally write Negan's character as an actual villain for the war.
yeah, because like
Negan,
Dwight
I'm
doesn't
just gonna
die.
say, Negan's not a villain during the war at
He
all.
is not.
No, he's not.
That,
He's just that guy that bullies people and just says like he's like well we got to kill Rick because he's a problem. Maybe we'll kill Maggie, maybe Ezekiel, but it's like dude, can you please perform more of a villain role? Like
Like,
come on.
think
I
about
that's
this.
one of the
Simon's
reasons
the
why I
one
love comic
that
Negan
led like
more.
all the battles
Okay,
during the war.
in the comics, Negan felt like a threat during the war.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
he definitely did. He definitely felt more of a threat because there wasn't Simon. There was just Negan and Dwight and the Saviors. But Negan, Dwight, and Simon, none of them get killed by the survivors. So, like in terms of Saviors that get killed by the survivors, it's just mostly nameless guys. For All Out War. Like I don't know, just that's how it kind of felt. And
The one major savior that was killed was by Henry.
I
yeah,
know.
Henry. I mean, I guess
And I
technically,
guess Morgan killed Jared.
yeah. I mean, that is true. I guess. Um, let's see. What were we talking? I think I was trying to talk to
Simon
something.
should have been Rick's. Simon should have been Rick's kill because Rick doesn't have enough like main character kills in my opinion.
No,
He's got.
Rick literally the closest thing Rick did was like almost kill Negan in episode 12, almost. And then the only other like big thing he did was kill those like saviors in episode 14, which
Oh
honestly just
boy.
makes you be annoyed with his character anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
The
mean the saviors that were trying to
Mega
help
Man.
him? I hated that
Hey,
death.
Matt.
What's up, man?
I'm curious as to why you like season.
I'm sorry, you cut out there. What's up?
I'm curious as to why you like season 8 so much.
I don't know. I actually do like season 8. I'll tell you why. Is because I like Simon. I like Rick in that season. I like the action, and I was never a Carl fan.
I actually like season 8. Or yeah, like sorry, I worded that wrong. I like season 8 Rick is what I was gonna say. I like season 8 Rick, except for that one thing I just mentioned, except for that bar thing. I think if you cut out the bar thing with Rick and Morgan, then I think Rick's actually a solid character in season 8.
Yeah, the bar thing should have just been Morgan because Morgan's a psychopath in season 8, right?
Well, exactly. You expect that from Morgan. Like, if Morgan did that, I'd be like, yeah, that's Morgan doing his thing. But like, for Rick to give them his word, like, I'm sorry, that just made his character seem like it's like, okay, wait, like, is Negan really like worse? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. People
to
like.
think that bullcrap is the last time we see the murder jacket, man.
Yeah, I know, right? In like the most like uncalled for murder scene.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Me personally, I think the murder jacket isn't Alexandria. It's in Rick's closet, just hanging there.
Well, I mean, honestly, you guys, I think we all can agree that we all like have been discussing this many times. They really do need to change Daryl's look and give him that for season 11. And like I mentioned before, make that like the key art for season 11, you know?
Give him the murder jacket and imagine a haircut. You'd have like a
Yes.
season 1 Daryl look with the murder jacket, dude.
Yeah, that's what Brian mentioned too, is that you can like, Brian even said you can cut Daryl's hair and like give him the murder jacket, and there you go. You have a new look for Daryl, and you know full well that's when they'll finally release more pops, just because Daryl has another look.
Yeah. DeRosa says
you don't need any more Daryl pops.
No, but
I
you know full well they're gonna make more just to make money because Daryl's popular.
DeRosa says the survivors did kill the other savior leaders. So yeah, they killed. Okay, they didn't kill Laura, DJ. They killed. Okay, Henry killed Gavin, but they didn't kill Regina. As far as like the savior leaders, like the lieutenants, there wasn't really a whole lot of them dying in All Out War.
No,
the only lieutenant that died by the hands of our core survivors was Carol killing Regina.
Yeah, but that was in season 9, not during the war. That was so confusing. I thought Regina died in season 8, like in the finale, but then it's like, oh, she's alive. Like that was so weird.
She get shot by?
She was shot either by Eugene or Rosita, and then they like retconned her death and brought her back in season 9. I don't know. That was so weird.
It was Rosita, because remember they were all going over to like kill Eugene, and then they all got gunned down by Rosita.
Yeah, that was weird. It just felt like it's like I honestly believed that she was dead in that scene, and then you just see her in season 9. She's like she's just there, part of like Jed's group of saviors, and I'm like, wait, she's still alive? Like, how did I not know this the whole time through the break? You know?
Plus, she was crippled in season 9 too. She had like a cane.
I know. It was weird. It was like really weird how they just brought her character back, and then she just gets burned by Carol in episode 6. It's like, what was the point of her character?
Plus,
yeah, I don't know.
I think Gimple
and we did use a few Alexandrians during the war. We lost some Alexandrians,
not
like
enough.
Francine and Tobin.
Yes, the legendary Francine and Tobin.
Yeah, Francine is like, honestly, every time somebody says Francine, I always just think in my head, oh yeah, because I'm just like, oh yeah, she's still a character, yeah.
I mean, we had Holly, we had Rose, we had Sasha. Why do Francine? I don't know. It's kind of weird. DeRosa says Rick killed Gareth. Yeah, that's true. As far as like name, Rick. Like as far as name characters,
he killed Joe too.
Yeah, it's been a while since Rick killed name characters. Like, he doesn't do it too often in the show. He's always killing nameless henchmen for the most part. Like, when he was on
Rick's biggest kill is Shane, easily.
I agree with that. I think Shane's death is the biggest that Rick killed, because that was like his brother, like, before Daryl, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I understand why Shane had to die, because he was just too far gone.
Yeah, I actually liked Shane's death because I think that, that's what made Rick's character the best for me. Once he killed Shane, I think that's when Rick mainly turned into my favorite character, because like the way he goes in like season 3 and like onward, I don't know why Shane's death just made his character different in like a really good way, if you ask me.
Laurie's death made Rick different in a worse way, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, though, I'm not going to blame Rick's character for that, though. That was just the bad writing of having, like, they didn't even need to show us, like, all those hallucinations. They can just have Rick grieving over Laurie. I get that part, but, like, for a TV show, it's annoying having to keep seeing these hallucinations while you got all this governor stuff going on.
Yeah,
I definitely agree. That was super annoying. Like, especially for me, since I didn't like Laurie.
Me neither. I'm right with you, man.
Yeah, like next, in fact, next stream, we can probably talk about Killer Within. Do you guys want to do that?
Yeah. Yeah, because even though I don't like Laurie, like, honestly, you guys are going to hear me next stream. Like, I'm going to be like, I don't love Laurie, but then, like, the next stream, I'm going to be like, man, that death was so sad. Because, it was, though. Like, that death was still sad, regardless of how I feel about her character.
The death is sad because of Carl's reaction to it.
Yeah, Carl and Rick, like, just, like, those two characters, specifically Carl, though, because, like, he's the one that actually had to, like, shoot her. Like, man, what a dark episode.
It's kind of ironic how they made Lori so hated, but they gave her such a sad death.
Yeah, I know. It's like as if they tried to it's like they tried to redeem her in the last like 2 minutes. It's like, well, guys, it is a little late for that, but you got us. That is a sad death, you know.
Same with Merle's.
Yeah. I was mad about Merle's death just because of the simple fact that Merle was like always like a problem for the group. And then finally in that episode, he actually did something good for the group. He actually he went in there on his own without anybody being put at risk and literally put his life on the line and died for them. Like, I'm just like, but then that's when he dies. I'm just like, oh man.
Like, me personally, I know Daryl named his dog Dog, but it would have made more sense if he named his dog Merle.
Yeah, that's true. I think actually that would have made for a better that would be more iconic than just dog.
Agreed.
Yeah. DeRosa says the season 8 finale didn't have enough action, to be honest. It definitely didn't. They didn't have the. I guess they didn't have the budget for it, and just had Eugene.
It was just a bunch of buildup, and then you have like the bullets that backfire, and then like a really really weak fight at the tree, and then it's over. It's like, what? Really? That's the end of All Out War?
I know the fight between Rick and Negan in the comics. The last fight was so much better, but in the show, it's kind of like playing tag with a racing to a tree. Like, that's how it felt. It just was like,
yeah. Guys, honestly, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm not gonna spoil anything, obviously, because the rewrites are about to return. But you guys know, I'm about to head into that, part of the story, and I will just flat out tell you guys right now, I will not have that tree fight. It's just, I will do it in another way if it goes down anything similar.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right, which is the end of the Negan War. Compare that to like Too Far Gone.
I know.
There's no comparison.
Exactly. No, not even close.
Like, you have Rick fighting the governor. You have Rick fighting the governor, but
me personally, I prefer All Out War in the comics.
Oh yes, yeah. I think that goes without saying, honestly.
The Whisperer War is way better on the show, though.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I think
honestly,
the beginning
that's the one I'm the most. I'm kind of back and forth with that one because, like, I feel like the Whisper War in the TV show, there are some parts they did better, but honestly, the comics had some good moments too. So I'm kind of mixed on that one.
The comics did the war better in the beginning. The comics did the war better in the beginning.
Final battle with the governor in the comics, they killed way more people on our side.
Too many people, if I might add.
I do agree with Brian though. The Whisper War started off better in the comics, but like also one thing I think the TV show did bad. I'm a big fan of the Morning Star episode, but I am so upset that they had that battle spill into the next one, and our characters are just like inside the walls, and then the battle just ends like after the intro. It's like, really? That's all you got?
I can see that.
DeRosa says Shane's death was amazing. It definitely was. Andrew Lincoln and John Berthold, they gave an amazing performance. And DeRosa says, I know people didn't like Lori, but her death scene was very well done. Yeah, Lori's death is so different from the comic version. Like, that's why I didn't expect it. Like in the comics,
the comic version is so brutal. I'm definitely happy they went the TV show route.
Speaking of Lori's death in the comics, we actually never saw that in the show.
I'm glad. I'm actually glad they didn't do that because I like the way they did it in the show. It's just I feel like even though Lori wasn't a good character, it's gonna sound weird to say, but it's still just more it just respects that character to do it in that fashion. If you ask me.
Yeah, I mean,
I can see that, but in the same time, I don't respect Lori.
No, I just what I mean is that it's just like for a character, like a character put in that like kind of situation, it's just more respectful to do it in that manner than in the comics, like the way they did.
Also, they probably did Lori's death sooner because they didn't want to. They knew people hated her and probably didn't want her to stick around to the middle of season 4.
No, I'm grateful she didn't. Even though like that death is sad, I'm still gonna say I'm grateful she didn't.
Lori wouldn't have been such a bad character if she wasn't so horribly written in season 2 and so mean.
Well, specifically in season 2, like season 1, I've said this before. I think season 1 Lori is actually pretty decent, and I think season 3 Lori, for the small amount of time she was in season 3, I actually don't mind her. But season 2 is why I complain about Lori so much.
Yeah, season 1 and 3 Lori feel the same, but season 2 feels like a non-canon Lori.
She was just so mean to everyone.
I know. Like, honestly, like, I could not stand. She would just say, like, the most random lines. It's just like, why do you got to be so mean to this character? Like, I just don't get it.
I hated her in season 1 too, though, just because in season 1, when Rick comes back, she's just like, actually, you know what, Shane? Screw you. You don't get to see Carl ever again. Basically, go feel bad about yourself now.
I know. It's like he thought he was dead. Like, I honestly, I know some people don't like Shane, but I have to defend Shane in that scene because it's like he actually did think Rick was gone. Like, he was a goner. Like, he wasn't going to make it. Like, it's not his fault that Rick is just alive somehow.
Shane didn't even go back for him.
Shane was blamed for that.
I know.
Yeah, me personally, I like Shane. Some people see him as a villain. I do not.
I'm in that same. I'm in that.
Shaves his head.
Well, exactly. I feel like there's two versions of Shane. He's like, I don't know. I feel like there's that one part of him in the earlier days where he's actually a character I can enjoy. But then once he like starts like, well, as soon as he threw that wrench towards Rick, that's when I'm like, okay, yeah, he's a villain now. Like, you know.
I'd say his first like transition to becoming an actual villain is his execution of Otis.
Rest in peace, Otis.
What a terrible death for such a nice guy, though. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get that people probably hated him at the time because he shot Carl. But, I mean, realistically, it's not like the guy was trying to kill Carl.
No, I didn't hold him responsible. I actually, like, when Shane shot Otis, I was actually kind of mad at Shane. I was like, dude, like, honestly, like, that's unnecessary.
Yeah, they had time.
It reminds me of what we did. Actually, I won't spoil this show because some folks here haven't seen it. But it reminds me of a thing that me and Wasteland World Official wrote in an episode for Wasteland. We did a similar situation like that.
Oh, yeah, I think, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, but I'm not going to spoil it for people.
It's kind of crazy that in the comics, Otis actually makes it to the prison.
He's the worst.
And he dies during Too Far Gone, if I'm not mistaken.
Dude, Too Far Gone felt like an episode where, like, Too Far Gone in the TV show, it's like, wait, well, we don't have, like, any of these characters, so we'll just kill Herschel and then the governor, and it's like, that's all we can do, like, it feels like.
Oh, there was Julio, too.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's true. I kind of forgot about that. But, yeah, like, in the comics, it was, like, just a bunch of, like, characters.
Yeah, too many. Like, Lori and Judith was like, wow, like Kermit actually went there. Herschel, I completely understand. There was Patricia, Axel, like, and Tyrese, like all of them, I completely understand. Billy, yeah, Kermit shouldn't have done Billy.
No, I feel like Martinez should have lived to Too Far Gone, honestly. So then he could have been a Too Far Gone listed death.
Yeah, that's true. I actually though I'm a big fan of what they did with his character because like I don't know, I like the way Rick just like chased him. I actually like that scene in the comic.
I kind of understand why they didn't do Lori's death in the show because they can't kill a baby on live television.
I think that may actually be the only reason why they did it, and then they actually did the death in the TV version, and then I feel like maybe they were expecting the fans to be like, that's nothing like the comic. We're disappointed, but no, the way they did it was actually like better. It was way better.
DeRosa says Merle's. Yeah, it was. DeRosa says Merle's death was honorable.
It was. I actually agree with that. I think for once in all the time he had in the show, he actually did something good for the group.
Yeah. Let's see. DeRosa says, what if we all wrote season 8? That is an interesting question. So, like, season 8 as far as, like, All Out War, like, the whole season, or, like, as in, like, season 8 if it's a new beginning? Because, like, I assume that's what's going to happen in Dan's version. If I was doing it, I would have had season 8 be a new beginning. So
definitely, yeah.
Who is the most like shocking character that you guys like think is still like around? Like, who do you think would have died earlier that's still here? And it could be the crossover characters on Fear. It could be anybody.
Well, if you're talking about the main show, I would say Carol.
I thought Daryl would be dead when Negan came. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
I think the reason
I thought
I
Morgan
think the
was
reason
definitely
Negan's
gonna die in No Way Out.
Oh wait, no, Scott.
me personally, I feel Daryl was kind of built for this world. Like simply because he can track, hunt, he has the crossbow. He was kind of designed for that world.
Yeah,
True.
that's true. But let's all admit though, like even though that's true, we all in season 8 probably at one point were just like, Daryl, honestly, if you're gonna be like that, like honestly, you kind of deserve to get killed. Like honestly.
I think
Season 8
Daryl.
was unbearable.
I think Daryl is built for the zombie apocalypse, but the thing is, when Negan started coming in, with the new beginning and Commonwealth stuff, I don't think Daryl's built for that world because that's the old world coming back. So you know what I mean? Like, so Daryl's not. I don't think he's built for that world anymore.
That's actually true because like in season 8, or no, not season 8. Sorry, in the season 9 premiere, like the new beginning episode, the first episode of season 9. Do you remember when Daryl was talking to Rick? He's just like, all of us back in the beginning, like we could do anything. That was right. And then he kind of looks around at the sanctuary that he's in charge of at the time, and he's like, this doesn't feel right, man. Like, and it's like I actually see where he's coming from because Daryl doesn't belong in that kind of role, like as like the leader of the saviors.
Oh,
that's why I'm gonna love season 11 is because it's gonna throw Daryl in a whole new world.
I know.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
Like that. That's why I feel it makes sense why Daryl has lasted so long. It's because of how tough he is.
True.
Wait. The character that I'm surprised has lived as long as he or she did. I can't believe I said Daryl. No, I think it's got to be Scott.
Yeah, guys, seriously, like I know he's a background character, but come on, let's definitely acknowledge Scott is the #1 character.
For me, it's Morgan because like I literally thought when he returned in season 6, I'm like, okay, I'll see you dying in No Way Out for sure. And then when he survived No Way Out, I'm like, oh, he's definitely getting killed in All Out War for sure. And then he survived All Out War, and I'm like, oh my lord, they're extending his character so much.
I think the only reason why they kept Morgan around for so long is because of his fans.
Honestly, the biggest twist for me was it wasn't even that Morgan survived No Way Out. I actually kind of expected Morgan to survive No Way Out. I was more so expecting Morgan to die in All Out War. And then that's when they really threw me off because instead of killing Morgan in All Out War, they crossed him over to Fear. That's when it threw me off. I was like, what? Morgan's going to Fear?
Like, the Fear crossover
it's gotta be because of the fans why Morgan is still alive.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Radiant says, well, he was completely ready to kill Rick. I guess he's talking about Shane. Yeah, about back in the season 2.
Obviously, he wasn't ready enough because Rick took him down.
That's true. He says, so yeah, I would consider him a villain. Him and Otis could have made it. Yeah, they did. They had enough time. He says there were other options. Like, they were fighting on the ground for like a minute. That was...
Also, can I also add, too, about the Shane killing Rick thing? I feel like this is something people don't mention enough, is that when Shane had the gun pointed towards Rick, when Rick was like starting to hand over his gun, I honestly was watching that scene the first time and I was like, I just yelled out. I was watching it with some friends at the time and I was just like, you're bluffing, dude. Like you're not going to kill Rick. You're bluffing. I can just see it, you know?
It's weird. He was starting to take the gun. Like, was he actually going to lower it, or was he actually taking Rick's gun and going to shoot him? Like, can you imagine if the actor confirmed that, like, yeah, Shane actually was gonna listen to Rick at the moment about going back to
would you imagine though? Because like it's kind of weird. It's almost like, you know, they have this whole thing throughout season 2 of like, you know, Shane being like, Rick, like he's gonna hesitate with Randall and Rick is gonna hesitate with this situation. But then it's like Shane, I feel like actually in the end Shane did do the same thing. I feel like the knife when Rick stabbed him, I actually was just like, wait a second though, he was about to give up his gun, but then I'm like, yeah, he deserves to die.
DeRosa says the Morales death and Carl death were the worst decisions ever on The Walking Dead. Like,
Morales just should have never returned.
Definitely, but as far as like deaths, okay, like Morales' death was a bad decision, but I don't think it destroyed the show. You know what I mean? Like, I think the worst ever was Glenn's and then Carl's. Like, those two characters, and we talked about before how we would bring those two back if we could. Like, you know, the main two.
Well, yeah, exactly. And also, like, I mean, honestly, Morales' death, like, I do agree that Morales' death was pointless, but I more so just am at the mindset of like, well, like, what if he just never returned then? Then, like, that issue just would have been solved. Like, seriously, it does not matter. Not one little bit. I will just say that one more time.
Well, the only reason why I was pissed about Morales dying was the fact that they killed another season 1 character.
Yeah, but I didn't even look at Morales as a season 1 character. Like, he was, like, I know he was, but I'm just like, really, when I look at season 1 characters, he's not a character I think about.
Yeah, like Judith is more of a season 1 character than Morales.
I know, and she was like, yeah, I actually agree with that. Judith is more important for the series than Morales, and anybody that argues that, I disagree.
Well, I think we all agree with that one. I mean, you can't sit here and be like, oh yeah, that dude who talks to Rick for 2 episodes is more important than Rick's kid. Yeah, totally more important.
I mean,
there were so many people that were just like, though, like, you guys remember when Morales returned? I remember I was watching Skybound's like reaction like thing, and I remember there was at least a few people that were like, wait, who is that? Oh, this savior has Rick at gunpoint. Like, it didn't even like click for a minute in people's heads that was Morales.
I'll tell you guys a funny story. When I saw Morales back on the main show at the end of episode 2, I remember when Glenn was still around and they used to be called the Atlanta 5, like the main characters, the season 1 OGs.
Yeah.
I remember when Morales was back. I'm like, oh, the Atlanta back.
Yeah, I know, right? It just felt like fan service though, and honestly, I have to say, Morales, I just am still so shocked that Morales, he still has a fan base somehow. Like, there's still people that talk about him. Like, there's still people that are like I will never respect Daryl because he killed Morales. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yes,
I think the reason for that is simply because of him being gone for so long.
Yeah, but I didn't even come on, guys. We can all admit he wasn't a missed character from when he left in season 1 to when he returned in season 8. Nobody was like, I missed him so much. I'm glad he's back,
Totally agree. Also, it's like with everything Daryl did, it's like, oh, Daryl kills Morales now? Oh, that's it. I'm done with it. It's like, that's the worst thing he ever did. And it's like, these are the people who forgot he got Glenn killed and crashed the truck into the sanctuary, killing innocent people, but, whatever.
Honestly, season 8 Daryl, like, even though I don't like season 8 Daryl, and for some reason this is an unpopular opinion, but I actually, for once in season 8, that was the one thing I actually liked about Daryl, is that he took down Morales. I'm like, thank you for getting that useless character out of here.
Yeah. Honestly, like, whether or not Morales stayed or was killed off like that, I honestly didn't care. It was just him coming back that was like, honestly, him coming back was the issue I had the most with.
Me too. Yeah, like, everybody that says like Morales' death was like it wasn't like necessary. I just say more so like, yeah, I agree, but I more so just agree that they should have never like had him come back at all.
Me personally, I feel Morales dying was simply the writer saying, "Oh, you want Morales? Here you go. Here he is. Now he's dead. Shut up."
Yeah. Honestly, I think that's the perfect way to quickly describe it, to be honest.
So yeah, guys, we're all agreed. Next stream will be Killer Within. Can you guys do tomorrow, or do you guys wait? Today's Friday, so do you guys want to do it tomorrow or Sunday before Dan releases the rewrite?
Either's fine with me.
What do you guys prefer?
I'm pretty busy tomorrow, but I mean, I could try to see if I could make it.
Okay. Yeah, it can either be like, Sunday around 6:00 ish, or Saturday, at
Let's do it Sunday.
like tomorrow. Wait, what?
How about do it Sunday?
Yeah, maybe Sunday works.
Okay, yeah. So I think, yeah, that makes sense. So Sunday, before Dan releases the rewrite, before this rewrite comes back, and we could talk for a little bit.
That could actually be pretty fun though, because we could do like the live stream beforehand, and then we could end the live stream, and then we can all kind of watch the episode. That would actually be really fun if we did that.
Hey Dan.
Yeah.
Before Killer Within, did you know T-Dog was gonna die, or were you shocked?
I was honestly with T Dog. I don't know what it was. I didn't expect it, but I should have because he was barely being used. But no, when I was watching that episode and he got bit, I actually was legitimately surprised. But I was also like, I was immediately disappointed because I'm like, okay, this whole time I think his character is going to get more screen time. It's going to come. He's going to get more screen time. And then as soon as he's bit, I was shocked, but also like immediately I was like, really? That's his character in the end? Like, come on.
Like, yeah, T-Dog, he definitely should have gotten more screen time.
I think they had a good actor. I just think that they didn't give him enough time. I feel like the actor could have actually stayed for longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lori's death overshadows T Dog's a lot.
It does. It's like Glenn and Abraham. It's like everybody talks about the Glenn death. It's kind of sad actually. Like Glenn was such a big character that nobody talks about Abraham's death. And it's like I don't know. It's weird to me how that whole thing went down.
Like, yeah, I know Abraham had a massive fan base.
But like compared to Glenn, like it wasn't even close, and I think that's why, like, because everybody was like, when everybody relates back to that episode now, they're like, yeah, when Negan killed Glenn, and then they're like, well, what about Abraham? And they're like, oh yeah, Abraham too. Like, it's just it doesn't. Nobody mentions Abraham first. It's always Glenn, which rightfully so though.
Like me personally, Abraham should have died in episode 14 instead of Denise.
I actually think that Abraham's death makes sense. If I'm being honest, I think Abraham's death makes sense. But I'm sure you guys know because in the rewrites, I actually think Glenn surviving longer. I would way more rather that and have Abraham's death be that big moment in the season 7 premiere.
I think that I'm glad they changed up Abraham's death, but just having Denise be that was the wrong decision. Like a 1 season character, like they should have had it be either Tara or just another character, flesh them out a little bit more. Because Denise was just, I don't know, that like I was shocked, yes, but I wasn't like mourning her character. You know what I mean? Like just.
No, what's really unfortunate though is that I kind of feel like they made Denise's death. It was more sad for the characters in the show than it was for the fans. That's when you know a death isn't good.
Yeah, it's like Daryl gets so upset. It's like, Daryl, you had one conversation with her about soda pop. That's it. That is not a
honestly like
saviors.
Daryl going after Dwight, because you guys remember, like immediately it was in East, the episode right after that. Daryl goes out on his own to go like track down Dwight because of what happened with Denise. I personally think that Daryl, realistically, with how long Denise was on the show, Daryl should have stayed back and make a plan with Rick and the others.
Like he had one conversation with her.
I just felt it made no sense to have Abraham survive his comic death only to die by Negan.
Yeah, that's true.
It's really tough. I mean, the only candidates are Glenn, Daryl, and Abraham for the Lucille death. They're really the only viable options.
Honestly, when I was watching Always Accountable, you guys remember Always Accountable, the episode where Dwight and Daryl, like they're in like the burnout like forest and stuff. I honestly thought in that episode that they were teasing Daryl's death a little bit. And in particular, the scene where Daryl like is like off his bike and he just like lays next to that like zombie with the helmet on. I was so like, wow, like that is like really foreshadowing that he could get the Negan death.
I thought Dwight would kill him when I saw that for some reason. I don't know.
Like I just felt that like they should have just killed Abraham at the Negan lineup and had Glenn survive on longer. Have it be different from the comics.
Exactly. I think Glenn is a character that, honestly, Glenn was such a big fan favorite in the show. And I honestly think that having him around for that Negan storyline and, like, even Ford, like, I don't know. I feel like that would have done better, honestly. And also, you got to think, if they would have kept Glenn around, I say this all the time, a lot of people dropped the show because Glenn was off the show. I actually think the ratings may actually not be that bad if Glenn was still around.
Yeah, they definitely wouldn't. Like the ratings would probably still be at 10 million if he was still around.
I know. It would literally be like it would still be the show that people talk about now. Like everybody's like, whoa, like The Walking Dead is like that big show that like everybody watches. Like Sunday, nothing's going on because everybody's at home watching Walking Dead. You know, it's like, it's just sad that that's not really the case anymore.
Yeah, like if Glenn survived, honestly, like imagine him getting the Pikes.
Yeah, Glenn on the Pikes is a very interesting idea. I think I've heard you mention that a few times now too. It's that the Pikes, like, man, that would have been so crazy if that actually is what they did. But also, like, I would have also been grateful that they would have kept Glenn around at least for like even that long.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. Matt, you with us?
I wish they
I just
showed
got back.
better people.
Oh, okay. What Epic?
I wish they chose better characters for the Pikes.
Yeah, I personally think that for the Pikes, and I hear me out on this with the Pikes because I know you guys are about to say like, this is a lot of deaths, but I personally think at least some of the key like main like characters, I would say Luke, Kelly, Alden, Enid, and Ezekiel would all be Pikes for me. And I know that sounds like a like massacre in the show version, but I actually think those are all characters that make sense for them to be on the Pikes.
I mean, it was a massacre in the comics. I mean,
seriously, I have no clue why they killed off Henry.
No, it just felt like they needed like a really, really big death, but I feel like it kind of flopped, honestly.
Also, it's like Carol loses another kid. Imagine if she lost Ezekiel, another husband. Because, like, she hasn't lost a husband since season 1. But for kids, it's like, oh, that's every season now.
Guys, honestly, you guys may disagree with me on this, but I actually think that the deaths that affected, like the deaths that actually made me more sad was Enid and Tara. And that's crazy, but I actually think Enid and Tara were bigger deaths than Henry just as characters.
They had more screen time. They had more screen time in development.
Henry was just boring.
I definitely agree. Tara was definitely bigger than Henry. She was there since the governor.
Honestly, they could have done Tara's death. You guys know how they did it in the comic where like you see like all these panels of like all these heads on Pikes and like how you flip the page and the next one, it's like this full panel of Ezekiel. Just imagine if they did it like if they actually had the last one on the Pikes be Tara. I actually feel like that may have got more of a reaction than Henry.
Agreed.
Yeah, the order was kind of weird.
It was, because it's like you have Enid, you have Tara, and it's like, whoa, like it's like, okay, the last one, it must be Ezekiel. It has to be. And then when you just have Henry, it's like, wait, shouldn't he have been like a few deaths before that, you know?
Yeah, and like people's reactions are insane on YouTube for Henry's. Like, and it's like, I mean, I get it. I was shocked too, but like, I was more surprised they kill off Enid and Tara. I agree. Because I saw Henry kind of coming.
Yeah, I think, like, you guys even, like, when Sadiq is giving that speech and they show that flashback scene, they literally show Enid and Tara fighting back, and then, like, Henry just, like, stands up, and, like, that's all they show. It's like Tara and Enid went out fighting. Henry just stood there.
Yeah, it's like the guys weren't doing anything in the barn scene. That was kind of weird.
Like, honestly, I'm not the biggest Tara fan. I don't hate her like a lot of people do, though. But honestly, like, I was in that scene watching it. I was like, go Tara. Like, wow, she's actually, like, probably the most skilled fighter in that scene.
Like, me personally, I feel season 9 is the best Tara.
It is. I actually, well, I mean, I did like actually Tara in season 4, though, and season 5 a little bit. But, like, season 9 Tara, when she led Hilltop, there were some people saying, like, what if Tara leads Hilltop after Maggie's gone? And I actually hated the idea at first. But then when I watched it, I'm like, you know what? It's actually not, like, the worst thing ever.
I think because after season 8, but before season 9 started, people, we already knew Maggie was leaving. So people were like, no, season 8 Tara cannot lead Hilltop. You know what I mean? Like, that's how people were looking at the situation. But they changed.
Yeah, and then like Angela Kang just like completely like tricked us, and they're like, "Well, watch this. Like, we're gonna write her character way better, and then it'll work." It's like, wow. Like, I actually do have to applaud Angela Kang for fixing her character for that small time.
And also, I gotta feel bad for Hilltop because Hilltop lost so many leaders, and then it gets thrown to the ground by the Whisperers.
And Maggie missed all of it. Maggie missed everything.
Well, that's the other reason why, like, I am gonna be really upset if Maggie like says that like she has every right to do whatever she wants to do with Negan, because it's like you were gone for so long. Like, I seriously, like, if anybody should decide what happens to Negan, I would honestly more rather see Daryl make a decision at this rate, because like at least Daryl was there for what Negan was doing. Maggie she wasn't even there for when he took out Alpha.
Yeah. Also, I hope they do something with the whole Georgie plot, because like if Georgie's not from the Commonwealth, then they got to do something, because like I hope it's not like a loose end that doesn't go anywhere, because like Alexandria is still overrun, I think, by the Walker. Or Alexandria. I don't know if Alexandria is clear for them to go back into, but Hilltop's burned to the ground. Like the characters don't have much of a home or supplies to rebuild. So Maggie needs to call in a favor. Maggie needs to call in a favor.
Beta, like when he took over Alexandria in episode 15, I thought the place was like just like done for like then. But then if you guys actually go back and watch the script reads they've been doing for these upcoming episodes, you actually have a scene where Daryl and Carol mention that Alexandria actually still, like, it sounds like they actually go back there and it's actually still going to be a location. So that kind of threw me off when they said that, honestly.
Yeah, that actually makes me happy, because Alexandria is like one of the greatest communities in the show.
It's my favorite community that they have, like, out of all the locations right now.
Same, just the place, not the people, because the people that we got from Alexandria, some of the worst.
Yeah, and also because, like, I actually think that, like, even though Alexandria was only introduced in season 5, and I think it's because we lost so many characters since then, but, like, I honestly think that season 5 now, looking back at Alexandria as a community now, it's actually iconic for me, personally.
What?
Yeah, Alexandria is iconic. I hope they keep it. If we lose the Hilltop forever, I can understand that, but not Alexandria.
It's actually going to feel really weird, though, if, like, they actually don't go back to Hilltop, though, and, like, Maggie is just, like, kind of just, like, at Alexandria now. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to feel like, I don't know why, because Maggie was at Hilltop for so long, it's going to be weird to adjust to her character not, like, being at Hilltop anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Is everyone still here?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just listening.
Okay. It's just I don't know why I get worried when it's like so quiet. Like, you know what I mean? That's just like, yeah, something's not right.
It's almost too quiet.
Yeah. So wait, hold on. How long has the stream been going? Yeah, we still got some time.
It's been like over an hour now, I think, maybe, or so.
It's been an hour and 52 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're doing Killer Within next.
Yeah, my second favorite community has to be Hilltop.
Yeah, I think it kind of has to be, though, because like Kingdom's gone and like Oceanside, like nobody's gonna say that's their favorite community.
I can't stand as a community. First off, the people in Oceanside and the community, just no, both of them, no.
You guys remember when season 7, or no, sorry, not season 7, when season 10 was about to start? I remember there were reports that there were going to be like several episodes in a row filmed at Oceanside. I'm just like, oh please don't let that be real. Like, and then it's like we only get Oceanside for the first episode, and I'm like, okay, never mind. I'm good with that, you know?
Yeah, we see Sydney a little bit.
Speaking of Oceanside, that character Jules, one of the most useless characters in the show.
Well, I don't even think they should have ever introduced her character, because you guys know where I stand. I think Luke should have been on the Pikes anyway, so I just don't think I would ever even introduced her.
No, like, I mean, she wasn't even in the entire season, pretty much.
Yeah,
no, she just had like a few odd like scenes here and there, but it wasn't anything major.
She was in the premiere, then all of a sudden she was in the finale, and it was like, wait, what? You know?
Yeah. Luke and Jules are definitely, in my opinion, both going down in this season 11.
Really?
Yeah,
you think so?
I feel like they kind of have to, though, because it's like Luke, I just don't know what they're doing with him anymore. And Jules, she never was important, in my opinion.
Oh, man. Like I said on last stream, Luke just feels like a third-rate Jerry.
He does. And Jerry's way better.
By far.
Like, no comparison.
You know, like, I think the reason why Jerry lasted so long is because he's a good guy, but he also has a warrior side to him.
Yeah, that's
Luke
true.
doesn't have that. He's like mostly a
Like
Eugene.
season 8 kind of proved that when he chopped the freaking savior in half.
Oh yeah, the weird Stranger Things looking savior.
The Jeffrey Dahmer looking guy.
He did not look like a savior. The saviors have bikes, leather jackets. You know what I mean? Like, but that guy that is
Like
not
a
a savior.
biker gang.
Yeah, it's like what happened to that? Negan had a biker gang, and then all of a sudden there's this guy. What is up with that?
It's like, are you new to the Saviors or something? Like, what's going on?
It's
Yeah.
almost like that guy wasn't even a savior, and he was just saying he was or something. It's like, oh man.
He's like, I've been trying to I've had interview after interview for the Saviors, and I haven't been joined officially.
It's like he tried to prove himself to bring him to Negan just so he could get in good with the saviors or something.
And then Negan would just if he actually managed to take Ezekiel to the sanctuary or something, Negan would just be like, okay, fine, you can join, and he would just give Negan a big hug or something.
Negan would look at that guy and just be like, "Oh, you gotta be joking."
So you think he was similar to Brandon? You think he was similar to Brandon from season 10?
I think Brandon was more crazy.
Brandon made more sense as a character.
I don't know, man. I feel like if Brandon actually got to the Whisperer camp with Negan, I feel like that dude would have switched into Whisper. Like, he would have joined the Whisperers, like, snap of a finger, that guy. That guy's a psychopath.
Yeah, definitely.
By the way, Dan.
Yeah.
Unlike, you know how the comics, Brandon was the one who freed Negan? Well, how do you feel about the show switching it to Carol?
I actually, if it wasn't for how they wrote Carol's character in season 10, I would have actually been thrilled with that. I'm actually one of those fans that actually likes the idea of Carol letting Negan out. And even like you mentioned too, Epic, I believe you mentioned this in the last stream, but like the whole them not adapting like wait till Carol gets a look at you. I actually think that reveal was one of my favorites of season 10 when she's like, took you long enough, and you just have that stare her down. I love that. I think actually that as a reveal was good, and I was actually kind of worried that they were just gonna have it be Brandon that let him out, so I'm glad that they didn't do that.
And also in the comics, Brandon's like a teenage kid, whereas in the show he's not a kid at all.
Yeah, that's true. Brandon in the show, I think actually they did do a good job. The actor himself, I think actually did a good job pulling off the psychotic type of role.
I've actually seen that actor before. He was in Happy Death Day.
Yeah, honestly, it makes sense then, because honestly, he's a character that I think they did a good job with his character in the TV show. Even though I don't like him, in terms of an actor, I think he was honestly perfect.
Yeah, he did a great job. Yo, guys, we'll be back in a minute. I gotta go do something.
All right, man.
But yeah, there are certain characters in the comics that I prefer to the show, and there are some characters in the show that I prefer to the comics.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why it's so mixed. Like some parts of the war, like Whisper War, is better in the first half than the second half from the comic show.
Me personally, I prefer Austin Emilio's Dwight.
Oh yeah, I do too. I feel like Dwight in the comic, I don't know why. I liked him, but I didn't love Dwight's character. And in the main show, I actually throughout season 8, I think this is actually one of the things season 8 did right. I actually do like Dwight in season 8 a lot.
Where's the comics? I prefer Comic Negan. Simply because Comic Negan is freaking hilarious.
Comic Negan was actually good because they didn't have to Comic Negan was better because he just felt more like a character that you could actually enjoy. You could enjoy him as a character. In the TV show, it felt just so weird the way they did his character with some of the lines they gave him. It just felt like sometimes in the show they gave Negan lines just because it was in the comic, and it's it didn't 100% work.
They were trying to make TV Negan basically like the comic version, but they should have made him more grounded.
Yeah, it's too bad because honestly, I think that Negan in the TV show, there are a few ways you could fix it. Like honestly, have Jeffrey Dean Morgan just be a little bit bigger, like he is in the comic. I know that he was pressed for time, but just throughout the time he's on the show, like I don't know. And then also, I'm one of the people that thinks he should have shaved when he was in the season 6 finale because I actually think Negan looks more terrifying without the beard. I think he looks like a scary dude without the beard.
Like yeah, I mean he is clean shaven in the season 7 mid-season finale.
I thought it worked. Like honestly, when he like freaked out at Rosita, like when he was like starting to yell at Rosita, I was actually like for once terrified. I was just like, wow, like Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I may not love your character all the time as Negan because the way you're written, but honestly, I will applaud him for that moment when he was yelling at Rosita. I thought that was well done.
Me personally, I freaking hated season 7 Rosita.
Yeah. Oh, same.
Yeah, season 7,
she got a bit better.
Yeah, but then Tara got worse, and so did Daryl.
Yeah, I know. It's like I wish maybe they should have just kept Rosita the same way for 2 seasons instead of mess up both Tara and Daryl. I think I'd rather just keep Rosita with the same attitude for 2 seasons if I had to pick.
But at the same time, I understand why she was so angry because she just lost Abraham and.
The Tara being upset part though, like when Tara was upset in like that swamp episode, Dead or Alive from season 8, episode 11, that episode just made no sense for me because it's like, why did she just like this whole time she had like all this time and then she's just like, yeah, the fight ain't over and she's like, it is for me. I'm done waiting. I'm just like, honestly, how long has it been since Denise died? Like I'm just saying.
I have no idea. I think like a couple weeks, if I had to guess.
Yeah. But it's like, honestly, Denise was with Tara. You got to think, because they did that time skip after No Way Out, and they were barely really a thing before No Way Out. So, like, you got to think, they probably weren't even together for the amount of time that, like after, from when she found out about Denise's death to when season 8 was, like, in the last few episodes.
But, like, yeah, season 7, I think, when her and Sasha were doing that whole, like, we're going to go take Negan out, I knew it was a bad idea.
As soon as Sasha, like, locked herself in, I was immediately just like, okay, I'm sorry, I do not like this at all. Like,
it's so pointless. It's so pointless. Sasha's going to sneak in. Negan's on a top floor. She's going to kill all the saviors from the bottom when it's people are inside. Like, that's a horrible idea. At least the sniper idea is somewhat decent, but they waited a couple hours. Like, that was it, and they gave up. Like, they should be waiting days or something for a good shot of Negan, you know?
Yeah, it did feel weird how they just sat there for all these hours until, like, you know, you see it's nighttime, and then she just, like, locks Rosita out, and it's just like, really? That's like, I don't know. It made us feel like, when I was watching it as the viewer, I just felt like I wasted my time watching that whole thing, honestly.
Yeah, I can't stand that. So, like, Silas did that when he didn't have to, and, you know, Rosita, Sasha did that. A character just, you know, trying to sacrifice herself when it's completely unnecessary. It's so bad. It doesn't make sense. It's such a bad thing to do in a story because it's just like forced. That's why I'm not doing it. And I would say I'm not gonna do that in Extinction because I'm not gonna have a character, or two characters who are about to do something and they can both go, but another character say, "Oh no, I have to sacrifice myself. You go." You know, it's like I'm not gonna do that in Extinction.
It also just feels like it feels random. Like it feels totally random for characters to do that.
Yeah, and what did Sasha think her chances were? Like Negan's on the top floor of the factory.
She shot like one guy and then like just ran in there. And then also that there's the other flaw with that moment. As if that scene wasn't bad enough. Then the next episode you cut to it and David's there and it's just like, wait, did you guys delete a scene or something? Because I did not see any deleted scenes of her being like, just the way they told the story. It just was cheap. It was cheaply made, if you ask me.
You know,
like,
a scene of
like I'm sorry, but me personally, I prefer the Holly death in the comics.
I do too. 100%.
You know, a cool scene would have been Sasha sneaking in the factory, and she is like kind of like how Morgan did in the Outpost. She is just sneaking in quietly with. She has a knife, suppressed handgun, and that at least would have been a decent scene. But they completely skipped it. Like You know what I mean? Like, that would have been a cool scene to see.
In the comics, it makes sense. You know, like she ramps the truck into the sanctuary, gets captured. We actually see it, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, but
Yeah, exactly.
in the show, Sasha literally gives herself to Negan, whereas in the comic, Holly actually was fighting in the war and did something to help take him down. But
Well,
he just got
honestly,
captured.
like you guys know, like I did like the Holly adaptation to the TV show, like in my rewrites, and obviously, there's still no way to confirm if it's going to end up exactly like the comic, like in the end with the character I chose. But like, let's be honest, that was better than the Sasha thing. Like Sasha just that whole scene was just so pathetic, honestly, especially for the character. Like Sasha, one of the best females in the show, and they do that to her character.
Like, yeah, Sasha was an amazing character, and they gave her the dumbest death in the whole franchise.
I know.
Let's see. Do you guys want to keep on going? Let's see. How much do you guys want to go on for another 10, 15 minutes? And then end the stream?
10 minutes. 10, 15 minutes sounds good, man.
But, I mean, no death will ever hail in comparison to Tom's selfie death.
No.
Tom's selfie death. Oh, and that was in Fear too. When I watched the premiere, I did not expect to see a selfie death in Fear the Walking Dead. Like, it wasn't as good as the main show, but still, like, I cannot take it seriously. Like, it's something you could see in a kid's show, like, or like a kid's movie, where it's like, yeah, this character died, but they couldn't show it. They couldn't show it how graphic it was because kids are watching.
They tried to make that death like so tragic too. Like they because like after he dies, Morgan and the others are just like on the side of the road and they're just like, man, what he did was like, man, it's so unfortunate. I would just be sitting there if I was in that group. I'd be like, Janice, I know he's your brother, but like honestly, like don't you at least think he could have made a better choice? Like, I'm sorry, I would not have just been sitting there like depressed. I would more so be sitting there being like, honestly, like if he's gonna be like that, like honestly, I don't understand. I don't know. I just don't understand what his logic is.
Do you remember my joke?
I just find it crazy how Janice died a better death than Tom did.
Yeah, because season 6 actually has good writers and they know what they're doing.
Do you remember my joke last year with the season 5 episode? Like Morgan was giving the speech with Tom about Tom, and the characters are just like, "Wait, who's Tom?" Like, because there's a big group.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because like honestly, it's honestly that ridiculous. Like if the characters would have actually said that honestly would have made sense because that season was bad enough.
And it's so funny how I came up with a way to fix it. Do you guys remember how I talked about the best way to rewrite Tom's death? You have the bridge that's collapsing, and one of the cables snaps and cuts him on the leg or something, and you have him getting a kid across before the bridge collapses, and then boom, it collapses, he dies. Like, that would have been so much better.
It's heroic. It's actually like it means something. Like if that happened, honestly, like it just would have made more sense. I feel like the way they did it in the actual show, it just felt like he was so just like focused on Morgan and their philosophy of like helping people. It's like, dude, don't forget, you just joined these guys like an episode ago.
Yeah, it's like not just that, but it's like it literally took me 5-10 seconds to come up with how to fix that. Like,
yeah, because we all could sit here and rewrite the entirety of season 5 of Fear, and it would easily 100% more would be better than what they did.
Like me personally, if I was rewriting season 5 of Fear, I would remove the kids, I would remove the plane, and I would remove that whole section.
It kind of feels like they like with the kids too, like this David guy that's like the ghostwriter now. It's actually kind of funny that you mentioned that, Epic, because honestly, it kind of feels like that's what he's thinking. He's just like, I'm just gonna like pretend that these kids don't exist or something, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like if I was writing Fear season 5, I would have added more CRM stuff, like there's secret outposts, there's signs that the characters are coming across, and they're constantly being like, okay, what's this symbol? The 3 circles, like they find the CRM's like footprints everywhere, and they're starting to get more clues and stuff. I would have had that be season 5.
It's such a joke though, because like you got to admit, with the Althea episode, they hyped that episode up to be like this Sunday, guys. Like just wait. we're gonna see a big like CRM episode. And I'm just like, really? You call Althea like being in a relationship with a CRM soldier a
Yeah.
big deal?
Well, it's like because they're girls or something. It's like no, that doesn't make it a big deal. I want it for the story, not because they're both women. Like that's not what you know what I mean. Like
That relationship doesn't do much for the story, if you ask me, because literally all it does is make Althea annoying because she literally thinks that every location they go to, she could be part of that. It's just like honestly, I don't like season 5, but I actually did laugh when Jenny was just like when Virginia just looks at her and she's like, "Honey, we have like just horses and whatever. Like, what are you talking about? Helicopters?" Like, I actually did laugh at that part.
yeah. Oh man,
Like,
all the theories about people saying Virginia is connected to CRM. Like I hated those theory videos. They were so unnecessary and
I
also
remember somebody asked me that. Like
that's what I
somebody even
love
asked
about
me
season
that
6.
question.
That's what I love about season 6. They're fixing Althea.
Yeah, yeah. I like because I do you guys remember? Well, yeah, maybe you guys don't, but like I remember way back in season 5 when I was doing like the Q&A videos and stuff in between the week. Somebody even actually asked me that question. I forget who it was, and somebody said like they're like, Dan, do you think that like that there's some kind of connection between Virginia and like the CRM? And I remember I turned that theory down right away because I was just like, no, like it just doesn't fit. It doesn't make sense for the story.
The CRM would wipe Jenny out in 2 seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I know there are some people that think the group that we saw at the end of Michonne's last episode, some people think that's Jenny's Pioneers.
I think it's possible.
Yeah.
Like years later, that's how big they got. But they would have
Well,
to.
you guys imagine though if they did like that is actually the Pioneers and stuff like that. But then like you just get this big reveal that like the new leader now is just like Morgan like years later and Jenny is like no more. I would honestly love that.
Yeah, because like they're cowboys, and like it just makes sense that the whole Western thing that it's from Fear. Because if it's a new group, it's like, oh, give me a break. We don't need more new random groups. Like, make them the
Would you
pioneers.
like honestly? I think that actually would make a better like. I always did like the idea like Morgan defeats Jenny, he kills her because that's what Morgan does these days, and then that group actually does just say, you know what, this guy is like intimidating. You're our new leader now, or something. You know.
Morgan is more intimidating. He doesn't eat jam with his fingers and stuff like that.
Yeah, seriously. I know you're like. I know it's a low supply in the apocalypse, but you don't have anything else to eat that with. Like, come on.
Oh, she got a knife. She got a knife in season 6. Remember the Ghost Rider fixed that? She was using a
Are
knife.
you serious? Oh yeah, that's true. When she was sitting there with I think
John?
it was what, John? Yeah, when she was
Yeah.
sitting there with John, she had a knife. I'm just like, seriously, like this other community that she was at in season 5, like man, what a weird scene.
Like that's why I love season 6 Morgan is like he's got a good balance of the peaceful Morgan and he's got a good balance in of the clear Morgan. He's kind of in the middle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that too. He's taking care of Rachel and her baby, but he's also being brutal with Virginia's people. Like that's a good mix. He's gray. He's not a psychopath, but he decides which people are innocent, which we agree on. The pioneers kind of need to go, but other people who might need help, like women and children, like we're there with him, supporting him if he's helping them. You know.
I actually agree though that like Morgan in season 6, like I feel like we can all say that we're grateful, like almost no matter what they do, that at least we don't have this like annoying Gavin, like you know what it is all the time. Like honestly, I would take anything over that.
Yeah, that was my biggest problem season 8 is how Morgan kept seeing those ghosts of dead people and just got so annoying.
My
Yeah,
biggest problem with season 8 is just the simple like Carl death because it's just like so like just ridiculous for the story.
Like I had a lot of problems season 8, but Morgan seeing ghosts was one of them.
yeah. It was even for Henry, who wasn't even dead, and it's like you know what it is. It's like I still don't know what it is now to this day
Yeah.
after all these years.
Like Gimple, if you have an answer for us, like can you please let us know in an interview at some time? Like what was it? Just let us know.
They actually confirmed what that meant, by the way, and it meant that Morgan was supposed to be the one to put his zombified wife down.
Well, they made that super unclear, if you ask
Yeah,
me.
it was very unclear. Like people could have maybe been like, "Oh, it should have been you that killed me, not Henry," because people could have assumed that. I think most people
That
assumed that's what it
that's
was.
actually what I thought it meant. That's actually exactly what I thought that scene was trying to say. But then they never said, like, they should have had Gavin say, like, they should have had Gavin actually word it differently so we know what he's actually talking about.
You know that Gimple had to be cryptic, because it means something more when it's less specific. I don't
I
know.
know, right?
Also, I know a lot of people haven't been talking about him, but Morgan's new dog Rufus better not die.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, animals in the show I'm always nervous about. But I was actually worried when Morgan got hit. Like, when Morgan got hit by those guys on the road in episode 4, season 6. And, like, I like how the first thing Morgan does, he's like, okay, like, are you okay? That type of thing. And I was so waiting for something to happen to that dog. And I'm like, please don't do it. Like, this season is so good. Please don't do it. And then they didn't. So I was glad.
You know, it'd be a legendary scene is
What?
if Morgan and Daryl cross paths in the current timeline and they both had their dogs alongside them.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be cool. So, like, honestly, I would be so up for a crossover if it wasn't for The Walking Dead doing so many time skips to where it's so much like so long in the future now.
The 6-year time skip was harmful, in my opinion.
How many
Yeah.
years would you have done it? Because like
I would have
Judith,
done 3 to 4.
Judith
I
would
agree.
only be like 6 maybe. So there's a bit of an issue there. I mean, not unless
I
you have
know.
Carl.
I feel like
Like, I
Judith is the
understand
reason.
why they had to do time skip in season 9 because they wanted to do it like the comics.
If they
I
had
feel like
Carl, they wouldn't
Judith.
have had to.
I feel like Judith. I feel like Judith kind of messed that up a little bit though, because you guys just said it's like they had to skip 6 years just to make Judith look the actual age that she is. Which I do have to applaud them because Judith does look like Kaylee Fleming does look the age that the character is. But like, man, it does mess with the timeline a lot because of Judith's character.
They should have just kept Carl around. That's all I'm saying. Then they wouldn't have had to do all this.
Yeah,
That's so true. They could have just skipped a 2 years or 2-3 years like in the comics, and then Carl would be like 17, 18 or whatever, and then it wouldn't be that far in the timeline.
true that.
And back in season 8, when we saw, Carl's visions of the future, was that Kaylee Fleming?
No, it wasn't. It was
No.
another actress that they only used for season 8.
Oh, no, it looked like her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did though. Yeah, it almost looked like Judith, like as if like they only skipped like 3 years instead. You know.
Right.
But yeah, Kaylee Fleming is amazing as Judith.
Yeah, I'm happy with the actress. Like, I think they picked a good actress. I just hope that by the time we get to like season 11, when the show is like going near the end, that she does still look the age as the character is in the show. Good thing is though, it's not going to be that much longer because the show only has 30 more episodes. So hopefully we won't get the Carl problem again. Hopefully, like, the show will end in time to where it won't look so bad.
Yeah, can you imagine if the show will go till season 13 and and only a couple months pass from and they're saying like, oh, Judith is still 9 or 10, but the actress is like, okay, like so by season 13 she would have been like 14. Yeah, so it would have been like off.
Then at that point I would have been worried.
But yeah, that's one thing like I'm super pissed about is Funko's last line of Funko Pops was so strong, and it kind of sucks that after that they just stopped.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that line of Funko Pops was incredible.
It was. For once, I actually bought all of the Funko Pops from that line, which I don't always do with the other ones. But, I mean, honestly, that line had a Judith, an updated Michonne, a Daryl, an Alpha, and a dog. Like, that's actually that's a good set of Pops right there.
My two favorite Pops from that line are Dog and Judith.
If only they would have added Beta to that, like, set of Pops, then it would have been, like, that would have been like the best. That would have been the best wave if you ask me.
Oh yeah, and they also made that masked alpha.
I didn't get that one mainly because I don't collect the boxes that they do, and it only came exclusively in that. And I actually did try to get her. I was trying to get her, but she was way too much money, and I'm just like, I already have the alpha with the mask. I'll just stick with that, you know.
Yeah, I wish they would make more Funko Pops.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, guys. I think if you guys are okay with it, I think now would be a good time to end the stream.
Absolutely, man.
But thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much for the stream.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And yeah, you guys take care. Have a good night, and I will hopefully see you guys on Sunday for the Killer Within throwback live stream.
Sunday's perfect, man.
Perfect.
All right, man. All right, guys. Well, sounds good. Sounds great, actually. And thank you guys so much. I really appreciate this. And yeah, I mean, it's the first day of the year, and it's crazy. I'm looking forward to doing more of these all of 2021.
Definitely. I will be here, man.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much again. I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye.
Ciao, guys.